PR Connections Radio presents this episode of the PR Connections podcast is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. My name is Guy Dawson, and I am your host. Welcome to another marathon, the third for Labor Day marathon here at PRConnectionsRadio.com. It's unbelievable that we have already done 3 of these. Where does all the time go? My name is Guy Dawson. I'm the founder of PR Connections and your host for today. And I always throw out there during these marathons. They're just fantastic opportunities to display all the wonderful shows that we have on our network. I always want to remind you to visit prconnectionsradio.com to watch archives of our shows. And of course, we stream on all the social media platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. And of course, now you can listen to all of our audio streams. That's really become a big part of the way that we present this network is through our audio streams. Some of the platforms that you can listen to our audio streams on are Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and more. Anyway, like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, we have been having these marathons for the last few years, and the feedback that we get from people in terms of being able to learn more about the shows that we offer on the network has been outstanding. And that's why we continue to do them. The PR Connections platform was developed in 2025 as a way to showcase the talents of podcasters to leverage new media, which is online media, which has become so popular in recent years. The whole goal behind developing this network was to pull together people who had an interest in developing podcasts and giving them a framework and a platform that enables them to do it seamlessly and easily. From my background in broadcasting for many years, I had met so many people who had developed shows or wanted to develop shows. And one of the challenges that so many of them had was being able to create a framework that enabled them to do it very easily. And through the technologies, the streaming platforms that exist out here now, we can literally work with people to create that environment and the framework that enables them to be able to get their messages out there through these podcasts. And we hope that you are all enjoying the things that we're doing here at PR Connections Radio. We've got a lot of new shows that are in the queue right now. But for today, we're just going to be focusing on shows on the network. And the first show that we will air today is actually going to be a recording of an interview that I did with one of our newest show hosts, which is Davin Sundvik. Davin Sundvik is a new show host who isn't so new because he used to co-host The Love of Business, another show that we have here on the network with Edgar Rodriguez for several years. Davin is back, and now he's going to be hosting a real estate-oriented show called The Real Deal. And before any of the new podcasts launch on our network, I always do interviews with the prospective podcasters. And this is the interview that I did with Davin. He's going to talk about his business and also what the audience is going to be able to look forward to with the Real Deal podcast, which is one of the newer, well, actually, it'll be a brand new podcast on this network very soon. So I'm going to step away for a minute, and I'm going to bring up my interview with Davin Sundvik on the PR Connections show. See you soon.
PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of the PR Connections podcast is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PR Connections Radio Show at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. My name is Guy Dawson, and I am your host. And my good friend, David Sunvik, who is a realtor and a very, very sharp businessman and podcaster. He recently appeared on another podcast, and he's back already. We have some exciting news to announce today, but hey, great to see you again, Davin.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Guy. Appreciate being back on the show.
Yes, and so as we talked a few weeks ago about your career in real estate, and maybe you could give the audience an overview of what it is that you do in your profession.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you guys who are just joining, maybe you didn't see the previous podcast or you just need a little update. I sell homes. I help people with investment property, help people with commercial real estate, whether they're a business owner who needs to lease or buy a building, or if they're a business owner needs to sell a building, or maybe they're a commercial real estate investor. I can help in all those different areas, but then I can also help people sell their business as well as a business broker. So pretty much every element of the local and real wealth building, whether it's the building side of it or the, hey, I'm done and ready to retire side of wealth building.
Yes, it's so real estate, as all of us know, Davin, and we talked a lot about this in the last interview that we did recently, is one of the great wealth builders, one of the most proven wealth builders, definitely in the history of America, if not in the history of the world, and ever-changing industry that you need a good tour guide sometimes to be able to navigate you through.
Yeah, and it's an interesting industry because as the profession goes, it's fairly archaic. The same way that we've been doing business has pretty much existed for thousands of years, nearly. And other than having a little bit of technology at our hands to leverage to make that a little bit more efficient, the industry hasn't changed that much. But yes, the market changes on some, not really a daily basis like the stock market does, but certainly on a monthly basis. And we have a new political climate, a new economic climate every single year that's just different than the year before, right? It's just our modern world changes the economic landscape. And I think having somebody who has their pulse on that, guiding you through your home purchase or any real estate transaction is definitely going to be an advantage for people over just trying to DIY it or just going with somebody who doesn't necessarily have that expertise,
Right. I feel in a lot of ways, Davin, on a lot of topics, but specifically when it comes to real estate and finance, we're kind of overloaded with information in our modern society with the internet. And there's just so much information out there for people. And again, being that person that can kind of cut through all of that and give people practical solutions that can really put them in the right direction. I would imagine sometimes when you're working with people, you have to help them to unlearn ideas maybe that they've gotten from elsewhere that might not serve their best interests.
Absolutely. I would say most of what is holding people back is not because they can't understand what can help them build wealth. It's they've already filled their mind up with information, biases. Maybe an important person in my life, but they may not be the best financial example of what I want to live. And taking that out of the context of what you want to live in your finances is extremely important. So that's one thing really enjoy doing actually is taking people in their situation and just saying, hey, what's just better? What's better than where we are? I call it a position improvement. And oftentimes there's multiple different ways to improve a position. And unfortunately, human beings have a really difficult time choosing between multiple options. We can choose between one or two options really well. We can't choose between 10 to 20 options very well. And Guy, just like you said, with the abundance of information about all these different financial products, they're not for everybody's situation at that particular moment in time. I think of financial products as a thing that you add to your finances through time as it becomes relevant to the stage of life that you are in. So I really try to help my clients see what stage they're in, embrace it, and make the moves that they've got to make.
Yes, and again, living in Las Vegas and having had a lot of experience with a somewhat turbulent real estate market, especially over maybe the last 15 or 20 years, it seems that we are kind of hyper-focused here on the state of real estate, just because of, we were at the peak, and then we were at the valley of the last big boom and bust when it came to real estate. So in terms of dealing with the local market, Davin, with a lot of people, we all lived here, we experienced that. How do you manage the expectations of people or get them to not be in fear? Because we know that doesn't serve a person when they want to grow wealth, but also to be that guide, that leader, that person that can settle their nerves, because again, we're starting to get a lot of information that's coming out now about some of the twists and turns of the Las Vegas real estate market again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something to consider is the historical factor, right? For the last 150 years, Nevada as a state has been a boom and bust industry through gold mining, silver mining, and we actually still mine precious metals to this day in Nevada specifically. So mining is actually still pretty relevant in a lot of the more rural communities, but in Las Vegas specifically, you still have to have that boom and bust mindset. And during those booms, you can easily get priced out of your home, right? If you rent a home and somebody else is willing to rent it for double of what you're paying, right? Why would your landlord keep your rent down for forever? They're not. Eventually, it's going to price you out. So buying a home can be a major inflationary protection in a desert, which is where we live. We live in what's called the desert oasis, right? We live in a desert, but right next to a major water source. And so that creates spikes in demand of a variety of different resources, specifically real estate. So it's incredibly important for people who want to stay in Nevada for a long period of time to own real estate to protect themselves from those spikes. The other end is opposite as well. And that's what a lot of other markets don't have in common with Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, you also have to be able to protect your income from dips in the market. Las Vegas hurts during recessions. So having a recession-proof source of income that can help you pay your mortgage or at least supplement your mortgage payment is definitely critical, I would say, for a lot of homeowners.
And part of the reason for this podcast, us getting back together so soon, Davin, as I mentioned, is that we've got a huge announcement that our very own Davin Sunvik is going to be joining us here at prconnectionsradio.com with a podcast called The Real Deal. And we're so excited. Davin used to be a part of one of our first podcasts on the network, actually, which was The Love of Business. And he did an outstanding job with him and Edgar Rodriguez interviewing entrepreneurs and business people. And now he's going to be returning and doing a solo project. You want to tell our audience, Davin, what they're going to witness when they tune into The Real Deal?
Yeah, absolutely. So what they're going to witness is me talking about analyzing whether it's a specific financial vehicle or financial investment opportunity that somebody could be looking into, whether it's the strategy on how to invest into those different asset classes, but then also the kind of stage of life. And if you can kind of picture that triangle, right? Sometimes you're not in the right stage of life to invest into that asset. And then, so therefore, the strategy is irrelevant, right? But sometimes you can invest in that asset. It's at the right, place and time, but you've chosen the wrong strategy. And it's not necessarily that the strategy that you chose doesn't work. It just might not be the best, right? Or it might not be the best for your particular situation. So my goal is to be able to touch onto all of those three things as a major focus of each podcast episode. And then to break up the episode, since they're going to be about 30 minutes long, I do want to give a little bit of local news as well and things that affect the real estate market in particular. While I do have a wide variety of knowledge about a wide variety of different financial assets, I do focus specifically on real estate. I'm biased. I think it's the best. But so we'll talk about the current condition of the Las Vegas housing market and commercial real estate market. We'll do a segment at least once a month. And then we'll also do a segment once a month about some different things that are going on statewide. And I really like to focus on wildlife. I think wildlife is a huge indicator of our resourcefulness as a community and as a nation. I think when wildlife populations are down, it's definitely an indicator of poor economic opportunity. And then when wildlife is abundant, it is another resource like anything else, right? Everything, your time is a resource, right? Your energy is a resource, your money is a resource, but also your public access, your government, the state of the political climate, those are all resources as well, right? That's why people fight so hard for their political party, in either direction. So we'll be talking heavily about wildlife at least once a month.
Yeah, that's an interesting twist. I mean, obviously you have this passion for finance, but this whole extra component, Davin, with talking about wildlife, something that you're passionate about. I think that people really enjoy those types of podcasts where they learn more about you as a person. So obviously as a professional, the information that you provide and your knowledge, that's what people are tuning in to learn about. However, learning more about you as a person and you having this particular passion for wildlife is something that I think people will really enjoy.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things to where it definitely started as a passion, and now I'm at the stage in life where it's actually a give back now. Like that's how I spend my weekends, honestly, is whether it's me just enjoying wildlife or at least once a month or twice a quarter, I try to do some kind of volunteer event where I'll actually go out there and we'll do something that's going to benefit wildlife, which people are invited to. A lot of these events are open to the public.
Yes, and so when a person tunes in to The Real Deal, love the title, by the way, just fantastic, so fits you. What can they expect? What's the takeaway that when a person tunes in that they're going to get?
Yeah, they can expect kind of almost like a little glimpse of what it's like to be a client, right? I've had so many different conversations with clients, which is how I've learned a wide variety of things. Because sometimes you talk to clients that know more about something than you do, and you can take that from them and teach it to other clients and say, hey, this guy is winning right here, and you're in a very similar position he was in 5 years ago. You should do that, right? And then other times clients ask you questions and you don't know the answer, and you end up doing all this research, and you don't want it to go to waste, right? So they'll kind of get that sneak peek of what that's like, but then they'll also get an immense amount of knowledge. One reason why my clients come to me is they know that I don't sugarcoat things. I think there's a lot of agents you can go to that'll only give you the good news. But it's honestly sometimes the harsh reality is what's going to keep you protected in your real estate transaction, right? Knowing when to walk away from a contract, get your earnest money back out and start putting offers on some different properties. That is how people stay safe, and it's actually how people build real wealth. So The Real Deal is all about authenticity, honesty, but then also like in an optimistic way, right? Positive decisions that are going to lead to real lasting changes in people's lives. And home ownership is a change. It's one of those things to where once you become a homeowner, like the way that you have to think in order to succeed has to change.
Right, definitely a mindset shift when you have ownership again of one of the cores of wealth. I know that what I've always heard, Davin, is that owning your own home is definitely one of the cornerstones. It's a consistent thing amongst people who generate wealth over the course of their lives, is that they own a piece of property. And so just that from that perspective, then of course, all these other services, of course, that you provide, the business brokering, the commercial real estate knowledge, I think that people will get quite an education related to real estate by tuning into your podcast.
Thank you, Guy. Yeah, that's the goal, right? The goal is that people are educated, and more than just educated, taking action. I want people to feel confident enough to actually move forward, because there's so many people that watch real estate podcasts and just sit on the sidelines, and they watch other people get wealthy. So we're definitely going to have a focus on what you can do, kind of every single month or every single week to make sure you're closer to where you want to be, one day. Because that's the goal, right? It's financial freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you can see, the telephone number for Ethics Realty, which is Davin's company, is here on the screen. If you want to reach out to him to have him work with you on your real estate needs, please call him at that number. And anything parting that you want to say to the audience, Davin, about the podcast or your business? What is the date that is it 2:00 on Tuesdays, I think, is going to be the airing date for your show?
Yeah, 2:00 on Tuesdays. And I'm going to do 2 different Tuesdays each month. I think I'm doing the 2nd and 4th, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, keep in tune, whether it's the 1st and 3rd or 2nd and 4th. It's definitely going to be on 2 Tuesdays every month at 2 p.m.
Right. So stay tuned. And of course, you're going to be able to watch the show here at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. And you can always go to our website to watch archives of the shows. And you'll be able to listen on all of the audio streaming platforms that we are a part of, which include Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and many more. And again, Davin, we've been good friends for a long time, and I really appreciated watching your growth as a podcaster when you were doing the Love of Business. And so I think from that experience, well, it was a couple of years you guys did that show together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and you interviewed a lot of people. Yeah. So what was that like, that experience, and how will that lend to what you're going to be doing now?
Yeah. You know what it was? It was a huge growth opportunity to understand show business from the production side, instead of more the back end side. For those of you who didn't know, I had a job in marketing maybe about, it was like 6 or 7 years ago now. And I did a lot of the back end work. So being kind of on the front end of it was really exciting, sourcing people in order to interview, and just getting into that grind and getting into that role. But I'm also looking forward to taking what I've learned and to go into a different direction in a way that I think is not only going to help my business, but also my customers. Just give them a little bit more value, because I'm sure there's a lot of questions that my customers have that they don't necessarily ask all the time because they might not want to waste my time. And so they could always just go to my podcast and see if that question's already been answered. So that'll, I think, add a lot of value to people as well. And then, of course, as people ask questions, I think it'll also create a source of new content. So I think it's just going to create more conversations. That's really my goal with this.
Right. And again, so everyone tune into The Real Deal with Davin Sundvik. It'll be 2 Tuesdays out of the month at 2 p.m. live. And of course, we live in this podcast world where 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we have access to these podcasts on all your local streaming platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and others. And of course, always visit our website, prconnectionsradio.com, to listen to archives of shows on our network. And hey, go out there and go get them. You're going to do a fantastic job with this informative podcast that combines real estate and the wilderness. What an interesting combination that's going to be.
Thank you, Guy. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and so we appreciate all of you for tuning into the PR Connections radio show. Hope you have a fantastic day, and we will see you here again very soon. Take care of yourselves. Sayonara. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to the PR Connection show. My good friend Davin Sunvik is coming back on the air with the Real Deal podcast. And I know that he is going to be providing information that is going to be so informative. If you want to learn more about real estate investing, Davin is an absolute pro in his industry. And as I had mentioned in that interview, I'm also looking forward to the whole wilderness aspect that he's going to be bringing to the podcast as well. So tune into the Real Deal I think there's two Tuesdays out of the month. Of course, with it being a podcast, it airs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over at prconnectionsradio.com. We're going to take a short break to honor one of our sponsors, and we'll move on to the next segment of the PR Connections Marathon, the pre-Labor Day weekend marathon. See you in a minute.
Get $50,000 plus in funding without using your Social Security number and without putting up collateral. It's simple, it's easy, and best of all, it won't affect your personal credit. Just use promo code PRTalk when you reach out. Click the link in the captions now. Or call 702-210-4201 to speak with an expert. Funding made simple. Let's get you started today.
All right, we're back with more of the pre-Labor Day marathon here at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. And as I've been talking, we have so many interesting shows on this network, but some of them are really unique in the formatting and the content that they provide. And the next show host that we have for the marathon today is certainly bringing some outstanding, unique information that is unbelievably helpful. Let me bring in Sid Maestri. He is the co-host of Thinking into Results, really one of the success stories here at PR Connections Radio. It is a podcast that is being downloaded by a lot of people worldwide. And so I am actually going to be a part of the Thinking into Results podcast today. So I'm going to turn the ship over to you, Sid. Welcome to the marathon.
Thank you, Guy. This is really fun. I'm looking forward to our little talk today. I've been doing this with you for well over a year with my partner, John Gage, who's out in the wilds today. So we're going to talk about thinking into results. And this program, Thinking into Results, is changing your thinking, change your results, which I think in this day and age is really needed. This information we're going to talk about today is how do you change your results? And you've been a student for some time, Guy, and I was thinking just to kick this off with you telling us a little bit about the impact on your life since you've been working with Thinking in Results. Back before you tell me, just so people will not familiar with Thinking in Results, this is a Bob Proctor program, and Bob Proctor was, let's say, on the cutting edge of teaching personal growth and success for over 50 years. And what we've got, Thinking in Results, 12-week program that can change your life. Guy Dawson, tell me, it changed your life.
Sid introduced me to this program by Bob Proctor, Thinking into Results. I guess it was at least 2 or maybe even 3 years ago, right, Sid? It has been quite a while since you first handed me the program and wanted me to start working on the principles. I have always been a big fan of Bob Proctor ever since I watched the movie The Secret back in about 2007 or maybe 2008, which is a book and a movie that I highly recommend. But Bob Proctor, I loved the role that he played in that movie. And I had never really studied any of his content before, but I heard a lot of great things from people about results that they were able to create from implementing them, all about getting yourself in the right frame of mind, the law of attraction, and other principles that I'm very familiar with and I've been working with for many years. But with this particular program, Sid, as I started to listen to the 12 basic volumes, it really was extremely impactful right off the bat. There were some concepts that he introduced that were new to me. A lot of it I was very familiar with, but what I was really impressed with the Thinking into Results program was the way that it was laid out, the systematic way that it was laid out, and how it just really increased my awareness of how my thinking affects all aspects of my life. So specifically, I know that these programs are designed more on the business side to help you grow professionally, although there is a personal aspect of it. But becoming more aware of how my the thinking into results plays out in the way that I do things in business and the way that I live. It was a real eye opener, even though, again, a lot of these principles I had been working with for many years. And, I felt like it was also the things that he was introducing in the program, Sid, they were very simple concepts. There was nothing there that was very complicated. It was just a matter of the application. And he repeated that over and over again throughout those 12 volumes, how important it is that you have to apply these principles in order to alter your thinking. And so I just was being the best student that I could, as teachable as I could, sharing these as I was learning things with you, Sid, along the way. And it has definitely enhanced the results in my personal life and business in a major way.
Thank you, Guy. As you were speaking, I want to say the program, as I say, Bob had been studying and teaching these principles for more than 50 years. And unfortunately, he did pass a couple of years ago. But I like to say he left a legacy. And it all started with Thinking and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which is a book that was published in the 30s. In fact, over 100 million copies have been sold around the world. And it goes back to 1905, when Napoleon Hill had met Andrew Carnegie, who was the wealthiest man in the world at that time, and also had the largest steel company. And he felt that, or I would say he knew, successful people they pass away and no one knows how they accomplished it. And he gave Napoleon Hill a challenge. He would introduce him to 500 successful people. And it would take him 20 years to interview them and put up the principles of a foundation of success. And there's 12 in the book, but and no one has all 12, 3, 4, 5 of them. But the one thing that everyone had in common in where we're at was they thought about what they wanted all day long. So I knew that, for a number of years, and I didn't have it figured out. But the bottom line is, when they were working on something, they're thinking about it. But when they're not working on it, Your subconscious is working on it. And I like to say that that connection with your higher power, some people might say God, but we like to use that term, divine intelligence will bring ideas to you that help you hit your goals. And when I mention goals, one of the things Bob liked to ask, in fact, it's the first thing in this program, do you have a goal? And a lot of people have goals, but if you have a goal, do you have it written down? And that's a key in this program. But telling you that I was first exposed to what we're talking about long before I met Bob. There was supposed to be a famous study that a class of Harvard on their 20th reunion, they had been surveyed with their success. And the common thing that they had is they had their goal written down. They knew what their goal was and they had it written down. And when you're dealing with 1%, 2%, and those few people had a combined wealth that was greater than the whole class. But meeting Bob, he was doing seminars, and I had met him at a charity event, got on his mailing list, and I got an email. We got a new seminar coming up called Think and Grow Rich. And it turns out that was the only time he did that. He had a lot of other seminars, but he only did one of those. And fortunately, that was the one that when it came in, when I got the email, I thought it was automatic. I need to go to that. And I like to say, well, it's in Scottsdale, about 300 miles from Las Vegas. And on a map, Scottsdale, Arizona is below us. So I'd like to say, well, it's 300 miles and it's all downhill. And that's where I learned about this program, which was a culmination of everything it was teaching. And so I signed up, studied it, then became a consultant, coach to help other people reach their goals. And I have to say, it's been a great pleasure, and we're still doing this, but a great pleasure working with you. You're the quintessential student and always learning, and you've introduced it to your team, and I really love it. 7:30 Monday mornings with your team, 4 people, sharing where you're at and talking about your goals and hearing what everybody else is thinking about. And that's such great value. They like to say 2 people coming together create a mind that's greater than their individual minds. And I haven't figured out the calculation on that with Classy Communications team, but you guys are applying the program. Is there a particular thing that really strikes you from this program?
Well, I know, like I had mentioned, Sid, is that you introduced this to me individually a couple of years ago. And then I started to kind of share it with my team, kind of eke it out to them, because I wanted them to have the information. I mean, it's built for individual growth and success, but then the team element is also huge. I know it's a course that's used to help corporate teams to grow. So I think something that has really stood out for me, Sid, is ever since we got organized with our mastermind that you were just talking about a second ago, and we're getting together every Monday at 7:30 a.m. and working on these principles, it's just watching the growth in our team members as they become more aware of how their thinking affects their lives. We went through all 12 of the chapters, the volumes, with the members of our team, and just the effect that it's had on those team members. And you can just see it in not just in their work performance. Obviously, we're a business team. We run, a public relations and advertising company, and we run this streaming network as well. So there's a lot of things that we need to get done in order to be a good company, to be able to deliver great results to our clients. But just seeing not the fact that these principles have been making them happier people. And it's very obvious that there is an effect on them. Each one of them, all the ones that have gone through it, we have 3 team members, aside from me, who've walked hand in hand with Sid through this process of thinking into results, and just their outlook on life and their behavior and their hopefulness and their constructive thinking, how much their thinking has become more constructive. And it's just awareness by going through these chapters. So yes, the work performance, of course, they're all go-getters and they're very good at what they do anyway. The happiness that I see, the growth and their improvement in their lives, which is something that's just as important to me as their growth in business. I know that if people are feeling better in their lives, period, feeling better about themselves, more content, more centered, more focused, they're having more enjoyment because their thinking is improving. I know that that's automatically going to show up in greater performance in terms of business. So just to see the level of happiness, I think, Sid, that has increased as a result of our team working with you on this, I would say that would be the one thing that truly stands out to me.
When you're talking about the team, this program is designed for teams. And I promote it with companies. It's for team building. And so they're in the middle of creating this. And Bob likes to say, oh, we were thinking companies are a whole lot of people. Let's coordinate the two. And so this is very strong, geared for individuals. So there's probably more individuals than people with teams are working with this program. But the team building, the growth and the communication, they have this mastermind every Monday morning. Everyone knows what everybody else is doing. And I think that's the beauty of a mastermind, is that when you're talking about what's in front of you and what you're working on, you'll be getting ideas. Ideas will come to other people and have your company a clear view of what's happening. And every one of them, Adam, Tina, Dana, the 3, and you know exactly what everybody else is doing. And if anybody has a challenge, it's being talked about, and I'm sitting here watching that. I get to contribute a bit with what I'm doing, my goals, to be part of the team. But to see the communications, and everybody understands the challenge that people are working on.
Oh yeah, Sid, the thing is that we run a pretty tight ship, as you can see, as a company. I mean, we're very organized. We're very goal oriented as it is, and very consumed with wanting to produce outstanding results for our clients. But again, just the shift in the mindset, and for me, being the leader of this team, and being able to incorporate these principles that I've already invested a few years of my life into refining them. I love the book Think and Grow Rich. I probably read Think and Grow Rich maybe 20 years ago, maybe even longer than that. Probably about 25 years ago was the first time that I ever read the book Think and Grow Rich. And it's an absolute masterpiece. Another book that I highly recommend, that anyone who wants to live a better life. It's not always, I know it says Think and Grow Rich. It's a catchy title. It's an amazing title. I think there's so much more to it, though, than just the getting rich part. It's really about focus and really understanding exactly what it is that you want, Sid. And I feel that the Thinking into Results program did that for our team. It really, individually, all the members were able to discover what they want out of their own individual lives, which was fantastic in terms of helping them to become more focused and to get an understanding of, as you mentioned before, if you don't write the goals down of what you want, they're just wishes. That's something that I heard years ago from, who was it? Brian Tracy, another one of the great personal development gurus out there. And so just seeing them writing their goals down, clarifying what they want, and then, of course, us working on our goals as a team, our collective goals, the things that we're working towards in terms of increasing sales, more clients, improving our operations, all of these things on a weekly basis are easier for me to work with the team on because we're all in alignment, because we're all working on our thinking. And that's where I feel the value of this, Sid. If you've got a team of any kind, be it a huge company where you have lots of different people doing lots of different jobs, or even if it could be a family, right? Any team of people, I feel could greatly benefit from the principles. And it's just because you're working at it together. Everyone's, the mastermind is an incredibly powerful principle. And when you're doing it in this type of a setting, you're going through these 12 volumes. The mastermind is a huge principle in Think and Grow Rich, but everybody's working on themselves. And when everybody's working on themselves like that, that's where you start to be, it's like Beethoven, right? It's like everyone's in sync and playing well together. And that harmony is also a big piece of that book, Think and Grow Rich, is that the team has to be working in harmony. When people become more aware of their thinking, the team becomes more harmonious because everyone is working towards that goal of, wow, you know what? Sometimes my thinking can be a little bit off. I think we all experience that in our lives. But the fact that we were heightening the awareness of the members of the team, I think has brought a lot of harmony to the way that our team is functioning.
As you were just talking right now, I'm going to go back to the goals. In our very first lesson, we call it a worthy ideal. And the definition of success. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And the purpose of a big goal, is to grow who you become on the journey. And when you reach a big goal, you've got a foundation to go to a new goal that's bigger or better. But I want to go back to the process of when we say writing down your goal, that's just not making one sentence. What Napoleon Hill was teaching, what we teach is, you want to know what you want. 6 steps. What do you want? And it can be, let's say most of the times it's going to be dollars. You need dollars to do whatever else you want to do. Know what your goal is. Know when you want it. What you're going to give for it. What's your game plan? Your game plan can be small. It could be elaborate. But where you stand right now, I'm going to say, what's the first step? First step is writing it down. We know what we want. When do we want it? What service or product will we be delivering? What's our game plan? And then to write that all out. And then you want to read that twice a day, morning when you get up, evening before you go to bed. I like to say, you want to do that in front of a mirror. You want to be speaking out loud. You want to be bringing energy, enthusiasm. I like the expression that I personally coined to do it with passion and unbridled enthusiasm. And whenever I say that, think of that, but say it, I instantly see a young colt galloping across the meadow at the unbridled. And I can't help but smile just by saying that. But it's so important because when you're talking, you're dealing with your conscious mind. You've got your goal, you're reading it out loud, but you're also talking to your subconscious. You're planting the seed in there. And through repetition, which is at the heart of this program, I had mentioned it, earlier. But it takes a lot to change your thinking. on any subject, because it's ingrained. I like to say it's part of your paradigm, is a term that we use. You may or may not be familiar with it. Our interpretation is your paradigm is a collection of habitual habits, things that you do, things that you think. And with thinking and results, working with this and going after your big goal, you'll identify those thoughts that are stopping you, that you hadn't been thinking about before. Because you can't change what you don't know. You have to recognize that, which I'll say reminds me of another example I use. I just said a few minutes ago, the repetition will help change. When you read something or you're listening to someone speaking, whether they're on stage or on the video, a video, or what you read, the author or the speaker is speaking his intellect, they're going from their mind intellect to yours. And what I do and what I teach, when you have significant ideas, what you're getting from the speaker, and you've written it down, your conscious mind is talking to your subconscious. And that's what's so important. And that's why the repetition with our program is when you're speaking it out loud, you're speaking to your subconscious. And I like to say, what you're thinking about, the universe will provide you with the tools, the ideas, what you need to reach your goals. Which also begs the question, be careful what you're thinking about. I heard this years ago, heard this expression, be careful what you say after I am blank, because it's going to come looking for you. And it also reminds me of, I think Tony Robbins might have been the first person I heard say this. I just love being on this show because I just drew a blank when I was, oh, yes. Doing something over and over again and expecting different results is the definition for insanity. And thinking of results helps you when you know that that happens. You try something once, where you've always done it, don't get the new result you want, you have to pause. You have to pause and try something else. And I always remembered when we were growing up, count to 10 before you respond to somebody. Well, that's at the heart of changing your thinking. Recognize what didn't work, and you have to step back. Well, I need to try something else. I like to say there's always a better way. There's always another way to reach what you want. And I love the expression, the universe is going to bring you the person that can help you, the book that can help you, a TV show, just talking to somebody, the mastermind group. You're looking at something's not working, and ask for help. But it's automatic with your team because they're so comfortable. No one's in the same room in this day and age. It's all digital in the communication, and it's so easy. I like to say we can reach everybody is as close as your guy. I'm really having an issue today. I don't even know what we call this. Or mouse.
Yeah, right. The thing that the cat chases around, Sid.
our mouse. I don't have to read this right now.
Yeah.
That's
One thing I
something
did want to add, Sid, is that, again, the course is phenomenal, but I wanted to give you a lot of props for being a great teacher. So the mentoring, and I know that mentoring is something that you are extremely passionate about, that you love to see other people succeed. You know that if you help other people to succeed, that you're going to succeed. So the program, it has its, the components of it. You've got Bob Proctor that's mentoring you, but then having an actual facilitator like Sid to walk you through the details. Because you've been studying this for so long, Sid, I think is another aspect that is why I endorse your business and what you're doing here, wanting to help individuals and businesses to be more successful. Because when you have, a team is a team, but having the right coach or mentor, a person to show you how to look at things in a bit of a different way, I think that breaks the monotony that you were talking about. The way that you're able to change your thinking is you have to look at things in a different way. And sometimes that requires, pretty much always that requires a mentor of some type to just point things out to you so that you can start to get out of your repetition, as you had mentioned before, of doing it. That's the most natural thing in the world for a human being, I think, is to just keep doing things the way that you've been doing them. Sometimes it takes a person that's not in the mix, like a mentor or a coach, to point out things that will make you alter your thinking, to point things out that you can take a look at. If I have anything that I pride myself on, Sid, it's about being extremely teachable and being very open to those. And I think if you can get yourself to the highest level of openness to the suggestions that someone like Sid will point out to you, or even Bob Proctor throughout the program, or anyone else in your life who is dedicated to your growth and your success, that makes all the difference in the world as well. It's not just the fact that there's all these recordings that you're listening to or that you're watching. It's that there's someone skilled behind the scenes that's going to help you, who wants to help you to improve your thinking. And that matters a lot.
I think you've hit at the heart of it. It's not a journey of, let's say, being the Lone Ranger, which a lot of us grow up. We've got an idea, and we're working on it. And we're not asking for help, or I want to say you're not blessed with someone that can help you, a mentor. That's what the heart of Bob's teaching is. Bob, over the 50 years and all that he knew and was learning, he had four mentors over that period of time that really helped him change. Just meeting Bob, I had worked closely with someone in personal growth, in finance, spiritually. I might just add that I'm a spiritual warrior, in that I bring this energy. And I like to say what does the spiritual warrior do? Well, what I work on is to raise people's awareness of, I'm not preaching, but the God presence, whatever you call your higher power, is in you. And you can know that, but be able to connect with that, and your conscious mind is aware. I want to say the expression or the statement, when I get a new idea, a totally new idea or thought, I've trained myself, I instantly know. It's like, thank you, God. I call it a God thought. Bob liked to say, we think we think. Well, there's a higher power that's helping us. And it's to be aware of that and to recognize it. And when we recognize it and trust it, take that action, we're getting more and more ideas. And to know that the mastermind that we're working with, that you're working with, that there is a higher power that is bringing ideas to you guys. And it's something I really love doing. And I'm not sure how we're doing time-wise, because I see something up in the corner, but I want to really, as Guy said, your props, to acknowledge the gift that you've given me to be able to do a weekly podcast. We do ours at 1 o'clock on Wednesday Pacific Standard Time, and it's so much fun being able to share something with our listeners, watchers that are listening to what this marathon. You'll get an idea. Every time I hear somebody speaking, it looks like I'm taking notes, but I'm just writing a couple words on an idea that I just heard. When everything's over, I use what we teach in our affirmations is, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then you state it in the present tense like it's already there, it's already happened. Before we had this marathon, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm participating in the Classic Communications Marathon. I believe this is the third one. I did Memorial Day. I did last year on Labor Day like this, and it's a great opportunity, and I really, really appreciate your team. Dana's a great help. The key person that's working with the podcast. Then I get to meet by going and following your website for Classic Communications, and if I'm out watching someone else's podcast, you've got them all archived. And this opportunity, I don't know anybody else has got a program like Classic Communications with our podcast. It's really, really, it's a lot of fun. And just to add on, my partner, John Gage, our company is S&J, John S&J Mentoring. And being the spiritual mentoring, if you go to Google, you put spiritual mentoring, spiritual warrior mentoring. It's the first thing in Google. In fact, we got the second one. We got the third one also, where you can reach us. But the on our website, you can learn all about thinking into results, opportunity to reach out to us. We offer a 1 hour free discovery session that's worth $250. We help you really get clear on your goal and look at maybe how can we help you. If we weren't helping people, we wouldn't be here.
Yes. As much as you appreciate having your show on our network, again, Sid, we appreciate the great information that you're providing to everyone. We want the whole world to think into results, right? We want the whole world to improve their thinking, whatever that looks like. And you're bringing definitely a lot of value to our network with your podcast. So keep up the amazing work.
Guy, I have a last thought to share with everybody that I think we'll be through here. If you want something you've never had before, you're going to have to do something you've never done before. And that can be scary, having to do something you've never done before and be able to have that confidence to step into that space of doing something you've never done before. And I want to say that's the foundation of thinking in results, changing your thinking, doing something new, and being confident. It's okay. It's okay to fail. I think I heard an expression of failing to success. If you don't make any mistakes, you're stuck. You're not going to really grow.
Yeah.
Well, Guy, you are fantastic. Your company, Classic Communication, is totally unique in this world of what you're doing, and having the podcast. And we're looking for more people that would like to share their message, whatever area it is. Classic Communication gives you a platform that, as you said, reaches so many social media, the Facebook and LinkedIn, and I get confused. It's Twitter or is Twitter X?
Twitter is now X.
Okay, and you got Instagram. I think you said Twitch. Was it Twitch?
Twitch, yeah. A lot of different platforms that we stream on social media. We've got more that we're also in the works of developing. So yes, there's people can find you again with Sid, with his podcast in particular. People are finding him all over the world on our audio streaming podcasts. Particularly, again, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music. I mean, he has literally hundreds and hundreds of downloads worldwide. So you can, again, tune into all these podcasts on the audio streaming sites as well. And again, Sid, thank you so much for your contribution. Looking forward to our continued journey together in personal and professional development. And you're helping a lot of people. And I know there's thousands and thousands of other people out there who are just waiting to learn how to think into better results.
Thank you, Guy. It's been a real pleasure to be with you this morning.
All right. Well, thank you for your contribution to the marathon, Sid. Keep up the amazing work.
Thank you, Guy.
All right. That was interview number 2 from the PRConnectionsRadio.com marathon for pre-Labor Day. We're going to take a short break, and then I got a good friend of mine who's going to be coming on. He is one of the first podcasters that we launched here at PR Connections Radio. Stay tuned as we honor one of our sponsors.
This podcast is brought to you by Envision U. Envision U has discovered how to impact spirit, body, and soul with spray technology in just 30 seconds. With Envision U, you can achieve optimal health and start living the life you have always dreamed of. Use the promo code envisinu.com/VernDix to take control of your health naturally.
All right, we're back with more of our marathon here at PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. Again, I want to remind you all as well as you could be, please become a subscriber of our network on YouTube if you're tuning in there. And of course, we are available on a host of social media platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitch. And I want to keep reiterating the fact that you can listen to all our podcasts on a host of audio streaming platforms, Spotify being a big one, as well as Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and so many more. So if you want to reach out and connect. We always enjoy when you leave reviews as well. You enjoy the podcast, please leave reviews for our podcasters because it really enhances our presence, and it just lets all of them know that they're doing a good job and that you appreciate the content that they're creating. All right. So anyway, our next podcast for today is going to be We Have the Power with my good friend Brian Gardner, who I have not seen in a while. As I mentioned, hey, welcome back, Brian.
Yeah. I feel like an Indy race car waiting for the green flag to go.
I can see you were ready to hit the accelerator back there.
Plus, I love motorsports, so yeah.
Yeah, Brian Gardner with We Have the Power is one of the first podcasts that we had on our network. Are you on? Is it almost 5 years, about 4 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. And boy, something's really happening. Let me do a little teaser real quick. I have 3 guests lined up. One from the Citizens Commission on Human Rights talking about the real dangers of psychiatry in our schools, over-drugging our kids and whatnot. The next show after that is going to be a show with a wonderful woman in Las Vegas who is helping kids be prepared for any emergency. And then the third show, already set up this month for September, is going to be a woman who is working on all kinds of environmental issues and has found a way to get deep underground water up where we can utilize it.
It's been great to watch your content evolve over all these years, Brian. I mean, some of the monologues that you deliver, are very cutting edge, and the audience really enjoys the content that you provide. But some of these guests that you've brought on throughout the years have just been phenomenal, just phenomenal.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to try to get you to come on the show the final Thursday in September on the 25th, we can arrange it.
Oh, it's
that,
going to go in my book. It'll go in my book right now because I know I'm overdue to come on.
That's my special once a month segment. So you want to be a blank, right?
Yes.
And we talk about people in industries. So people wanting to go into those industries don't need to go too far down that road and find out this is what it is to be a doctor. I don't want to do this. Why let them go down that road so far, and then have to turn around and come back, So that's what I do once a month on We Have the Power. And I want you to be the second interview, because I did my son, I had an interview with him about being a printer on the first segment of that. So I'd like to have you on September 25th.
Yeah, sounds good, Brian. It's going to go into my book, and the We Have the Power podcast here at PR Connections Radio has been really one of the cornerstones of our development. Yes, I mean, Brian, back then we had like 3 shows or 4 shows, and the network really has evolved. And it's people like you with your consistent content that you've been providing, the enthusiasm behind it, and the thinking. We just had the Thinking into Results podcast a minute ago.
Right.
I believe that when you tune into We Have the Power, that you will experience shifts in your thinking if you choose to. Right. And I think that's
your choice.
Why
it's your choice, right? Yeah. Yeah. But I present information, food for thought. The whole purpose of We Have the Power, sorry if I kind of interrupted you there, motivate, activate, bring up to need for change, demand for improvement. But that is always the viewer's choice. I'm not dictating. I'm just presenting, here, try this food, see if you like it, that kind of thing.
Yes. So I'm going to jump off the stage right now because I know you have a lot to say, Brian. Please welcome Brian Gardner with We Have the Power.
Thank you very much, everyone who's watching the marathon. Isn't it great that Guy makes available with his staff an opportunity to do this? Now, normally I talk about let's write letters to our senators. Let's maybe get on the picket lines. We have the power, doing things for others as a way to make this world a better place and our country a better place and secure our freedoms. But today I want to talk about what you can do yourself to reach the goals you have, even though there's lots of people around saying, oh, that won't work. You'll never get there. Oh, come on. Everybody's trying that. We're going to throw that in the trash. And let me give you some examples to show you that, in fact, this idea of having positive thinking is something that is absolutely workable. So usually I have an infomercial, but we're going to not do the infomercial because there's a lot of information I want to get to. That's for the producer so they don't keep waiting for me to give a break. I just want to do the segment. And whenever you turn into We Have the Power in the future, you will see a segment for the Truth About Drug booklets, which anyone should get copies of. So for today, let me concentrate on the ability we all have, the power that we have. And I want to drop the camera just for the fun of it. I wore a shirt that has the universe on it because isn't the universe an endless thing with no limits? Well, guess what? The power that we have to make changes in our life is limitless. Now, I'll be the first to say you can't sit on your sofa and go, okay, all right, Brian, you said I could do it. I'm thinking about $1 million. That's not how it works. We all wish that it would, but it's positive thinking. It's knowing what you want and ignoring those naysayers. Now let's take a look at some historical examples of this, which are not me making up. These are factual situations where the odds were impossible that these things could be accomplished. And yet because individuals had it in their mind that they were not going to listen to any negativity whatsoever, and they were going to get done a particular thing. Let's go back to beginnings of this country, since this year is our 250th anniversary of this country. Can you imagine being in a pub in pre-America America, when we were still a colony. Hey, George, I think we can get free of the English. Yeah, I think we can do it. Are you crazy? England is the number one preeminent war nation in the world. And we're a bunch of farmers. You think we can get our freedom? Are you crazy? No, Henry, guess what? I want my freedom and I'm going to get it. Now, that kind of thinking caused us to take on the preeminent warring nation in the world, and we won. We got our freedom. And we didn't come up with just a replacement of the English government. We came up with a new form of government that has lasted over 200 years. Talk about mental energy producing something that those people wanted, their freedom. Now, did they sit in their armchair and go, I want my freedom? No, they got out and did the work, but they did not listen to those people in the pub saying, are you crazy, man? You cannot win against England. No, I don't care about the odds. I don't care about what you're saying. It's going to be done. So that's just the first example. Let's take the next example that still stands today, and you can go touch and look at this example anytime you want to travel to San Francisco and walk and touch and go across the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, for those of you who are maybe younger or really haven't thought about it, before the Golden Gate Bridge was there, you had to take a ferry from San Francisco to Marin Headlands. And somebody stood in the dirt and said, I think we should make a bridge here. And his friend, I'm sure, and 12 dozen other people said, are you nuts? People would die building a bridge here. It would cost millions of dollars. This sea air is going to eat away at it forever, and pretty soon it won't be there. It would take massive amounts of maintenance. Just forget about it. Just keep riding the ferry. Well, luckily this guy and this group of people, whoever they were, said, no, I'm not listening. I'm not listening. I have in my mind that there should be a bridge here. I'm going to make a bridge there. Now, that bridge has been there since the 30s. Yes, they paint to the end of the bridge and they turn around and go back the other direction and go the other direction because the salt sea air is corrosive. But that bridge is there because somebody had it in their mind that it can be done. That bridge is not there because, it'll be so easy, let's do it. Yeah, no problem. Be no problems with that. Yeah, just do it. Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm sure they met tremendous amounts of resistance and negativity and, whatever. Now, maybe in your life, and I'll share some examples of this in my life, maybe in your life you have something you want to do. And maybe your husband or your wife or your kids or your friends are saying, come on, Sally, Ted, forget it, man. Come on, Well, you can either listen to that and continue not reaching this goal that you want to, or you can privately, you don't need to criticize and say, you're stupid, you're dumb for saying that. You just go, okay, Ted, that's, or whatever the person's saying it to you, that's your viewpoint. Okay. And privately, you just keep that thought in mind. Because mental imagery and mental thoughts have an impact on the condition of your life and this country and this world. But let's keep it on us for today because I talk a lot about fixing the world and this country. Today we're talking about what you can do in your life. It starts with a positive mental attitude, despite all the minions saying, no, you can't be done. No, it won't ever be done. Just give up. Come on, It's like a bunch of munchkins going, are you crazy? Just don't listen to them. And continue to keep in mind what it is you want to do. Now, here's an example in my personal life. I'm not abashed or embarrassed to tell you that I was being a full-time musician, working a little bit for the family printing business, Franklin Printing here in Las Vegas, but I was in Northern California. So I was doing a little remote work. And I was playing in a band on the weekends, a very successful band. We played every weekend. And I was playing at retirement homes, getting a pretty good amount for this hour comedy music show I did for seniors. giving them a chance to laugh and forget about their problems. It was really cool from that aspect. Now, notoriously, when you work with corporations, such as many retirement homes are, they take forever to get you paid, you know. And I got to a point where I really needed a couple of those checks. And I was trying to go to sleep, tossing and turning, you know, and oh God, where are those checks? I really need those checks. And then I went, Brian, what are you doing? You're not using positive mental, you're acting like the checks will never get here. You're agreeing with that. So I immediately turned that off. And I said, those checks will be here faster than ever. You know, even though the lady said, well, I'm sorry, it's going to take a few weeks or whatever. So I just said, no, those checks are going to get here very fast. And that allowed me to relax and go to sleep. And I'm not kidding you. Those checks arrived way faster than they had told me on the phone. Now, of course, a naysayer, a person who only believes in the reality we see and nothing else, could say, well, the checks are always in the mail. Your mental energy had nothing to do with it. Well, okay. You can have that viewpoint, or she can have that viewpoint. I know that because I changed my viewpoint, that it created those checks getting there faster somehow. I do. That's what I believe. So that's just one example. Now let's take a look at another one. In reorganizing my band Manzanita, of course, ran into multiple people who had personality problems, health problems. I'm sorry they did. I live too far away. This is not the kind of music I want to do. People never calling me back. 31 musicians. To find the 4 musicians I have now that are just incredible. But that is a broad mental viewpoint. I said, this band is going to get in front of audiences playing good covers and my originals, which are also well crafted. Pardon me for saying so. You always have to believe in what you're doing or why you're doing it. It's not an egotistical thing. I'm happy my songs are good because then the audiences will get enjoyment from it. Performers really aren't supposed to go up there. So, you're so wonderful. Thank you very much. Yes, I am wonderful. You're supposed to go out there to give the audience joy and enjoyment. Okay, so the example is I went to Coppercat Books, which you should go to. They're an independent bookstore in Henderson, really nice. I went in to pick up a book she had ordered for me, and I got the book, talked to her for a little bit. It was fun. Then I go next door to the restaurant to get a chocolate shake because that's what I wanted. I went in waiting for my chocolate shake to be made. There was a woman sitting there with a Led Zeppelin t-shirt. And I really wasn't attracted to her. So I wasn't trying to talk to her because of that. It's just I saw the Led Zeppelin t-shirt and I wanted to give her one of my Manzanita business cards. So I said, ma'am, you like Led Zeppelin? She goes, no, I just put this shirt on. It's one of my husband's or whatever she said. I said, well, I have a band, Manzanita. Here's my card. Come see us play, come up and say hi. If you come see us play, it'd be great to see you again. And then I got my chocolate shake. And as I was leaving, and before I tell you what happened next, for the last few weeks, I've been working heavily on getting a guitarist for the Manzanita band because that's the next piece we need to have the band be fully functional. So I've been putting a lot of mental energy and we are going to find a guitarist. So as I'm leaving with my chocolate shake, the guy sitting at the table behind her says, hey, by the way, I overheard what you said. I'm a guitarist. He plays electric and acoustic. He's a great guy, fun as hell, as heck, for those of you who are younger and shouldn't hear that word. And he's now in the band. Now, the odds makers would say it is impossible for Brian to arrive at Coppercat Books on the day when Ben is going to be sitting there at that table, at the time when Ben is going to be sitting there at the table with that woman sitting there that Brian will talk to about his band at the precise time for all this to come together. They will say it's impossible. The odds must be 400 trillion to 1. And yet Ben is in the band. Now I can start booking the band. Tell me how these things happen, okay? They happen because you keep a positive mental viewpoint that nothing, I made this mental decision, nothing is going to stop me from finding a really upbeat, personable, no bringing attitude and drama to the band guitarist. And that's what I found. Another example, of course, we don't want to revere Hitler. He did horrible things, of course, but he was the one responsible for pushing for a car for all Germans. And the Volkswagen that he helped develop with Ferdinand Porsche, I'm reading the book now, in fact, I got it from Coppercat Books. The Volkswagen as a single model was the first to reach 20 million Volkswagens produced. And then later on, they were supplanted by the Toyota Corolla, which has sold 50 million. But if you take a look at it, that Volkswagen, which is still so popular, it's been here for 75 years, still so popular. I have a Volkswagen business myself, doing art. That started and a tremendous difficulty. The car companies at the time said, we are not making a small car. We're not going to sell to people that hardly have any money. We want to make big, expensive cars, make lots of profit. The trouble, not so much Hitler. He just put the idea out there. He was busy making a mess out of the world. But Ferdinand Porsche, the trouble he had bringing that car to the market with people saying, wait, we don't want to make a small car. Nobody wants that. And then it became wildly popular. What if Ferdinand Porsche and his sons had said, well, listen to them. They say they don't want a big car. All right, let's close down. We're closing down. Okay. What if they would have done that? What if the Rolling Stones, who were nobody at one point, would have said, we're nobody. We're trying to make it in the music business. Are you kidding? 400,000 people want to be famous in music. Let's just quit. What if the Rolling Stones did that? No, they kept in mind and worked hard to be one of the top bands in the world, and they're still going. Same with the Beatles. The Beatles got turned down 16 times. Can you imagine the wives of the producer that turned the Beatles down? Those 16 husbands probably got in lots of trouble. I could have had a new living room, honey. Why did you, But they, John Lennon just kept in his mind that we're going to get somewhere in this darn business. And that is repeated over and over and over and over. And that is the power that we have. When we talk about we have the power, yes, it is to affect our communities, our government, our country, our world, but we can affect ourselves. We have the power within each of us to keep positive in the face of negativity and go for the goals we want, especially when they're ethical goals and they help more than just yourself. You say, I want a Rolls Royce, I want a Rolls Royce. Well, that's fine if you want a Rolls Royce, but can we broaden it a little bit? I mean, I'm doing this band, to put music out there to make people happy and some enjoyment, get out of their house, away from their bills and their problems. And so those kinds of goals usually come to fruition much better than, I want a mansion where no one can talk to me ever. What? Okay. Those kind of goals don't help anybody else but you. Is that, can't we broaden that a little bit, So keep that in mind, that you don't have to listen to negativity. You can keep, even private, or write down what you want. Take the viewpoint, steel yourself, like the horses wear the blinders. They can't see trucks going by, and that keeps them going along, and they're happy. So keep the blinders on. Don't listen to negative people that say, oh, come on, you can't do that. You will never do that. Come on, be realistic. Oh, heck with realisticness, forget it. Sometimes, you have to disagree with this physical universe and keep a positive viewpoint. I remember one time I had left for a meeting too late. It was my fault. I left too late, got caught up in something. I'm driving to the meeting going, I'm going to be late. He's going to be mad at me. Oh my gosh. And then I said, Brian, what are you doing? And I said, I'm going to arrive at exactly the right time. It's going to be okay. And then the little voice going, yeah, but you left too late. Forget you. Do you know I walked into the office? Guess what they said? I said, I'm sorry, so late. I got hung up. Oh, Dave's not even here yet. He got hung up in traffic. Have a seat, have some coffee. Dave will be here shortly. How about that one? How about that zinger, huh? From keeping a positive viewpoint. Again, the negative people say, well, he was already in traffic before you were thinking that way. Oh, please, would you stop with all that? Positive mental activity works. It is a power that we have. Use it to help yourself, your family, your city, your community, this country, this world, and stop listening to the negativity and the realists that say, you cannot be a doctor who would take billions of dollars and years of study, and you can't make it in music. You can't make it as an artist. You can't really climb Mount Everest or whatever it might be. It's your goal. You keep positive about it and watch the positive changes in your life. You will be amazed. And I want to hear about it when you have great stories to tell me. I want to hear about it right here. So you can contact me, bgardner2323@yahoo.com, or contact me via the program here. Watch my show every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific. We have the power. But I want to hear your successes, and I want to share them with more viewers, so we start taking that as the way to operate in this physical universe, not agreeing with every darn negative thing that happens to bounce off your head. Okay? Go out there with a positive attitude and be successful, grabbing a hold of the goals that you want. You can do it. I've shown you today that many people have, even myself has. And when you come see Manzanita play a live performance, you go, there's that Brian Gardner. He said he was getting this music in front of people. Here I am at one of his performances. Darn it all, he's right. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and keep a positive mental attitude.
Love the content, Brian. Very inspirational and enthusiastic. And will you share with the audience your age?
My age?
Yeah.
73. 73.
See, that's what you're going to have to look forward to when you're 290.
Now, let me tell you one other real quick thing, real fast. So I got a new doctor. She said, well, you're 73 and we should get your heart checked. I said, go ahead. So I'm sitting in front of a guy who looks like me with his clipboard. He's going, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. We can't find a darn thing wrong with your heart. I don't know. If I could just get happy and positive, I'd be so much happier.
It's so much your approach to life, right, Brian? I mean, yeah, you've just, for all the time that I've known you, you've just always been so upbeat and enthusiastic, and you love the life journey. That's what I've always seen in you. You really appreciate it, and you are invigorated by the life journey. Yeah. That's been my experience.
And the other thing I did is I took ego. I go, get rid of this.
Well, yeah, that can be one that can weigh you down.
People see me and I'm happy and I'm positive. Then you come to a Manzanita acoustic band performance and you forget about your bills and your kids with piercings everywhere, and whatever's going on. And you actually, for a couple of hours, you're just having a ball, because that's what the musicians I have with me now are not quite as hyper as me, but they're very positive, very friendly. So people are sitting there having so much fun at our performance because that's the vibe we're putting out. Then they leave the performance and they go, oh my gosh, I feel better having gone to that Manzanita performance, because that is what we're putting out. You've gone to DMV and the lady says, hey, go ahead. Yeah, well, you're late on your registration, and you feel your emotion. I'm not criticizing all DMV. I'm just using an example. So, but you feel your emotion going down because she's saying, well, you're late. It's going to take weeks to fix it. All when it really doesn't take that long, but she's maybe a negative person, So when you go to a Manzanita performance or when you hang out with me, it's this continual flow of positivity, and people don't want to feel bad. They want to feel happy. So, imagine husband and wife going, gosh, George, do you feel different after that Manzanita performance? I do. I can't believe it. That guy was 73. They should hook him up to a city that could run the lights for 2 weeks.
Right. And that's what makes a great performer, I believe, Brian, is that
get rid of the ego.
With a great experience. You want them to leave feeling better than they felt before they came to the show.
Yeah. And none of my musicians currently have ego or attitude. I tell them, leave it at home. Let the cat deal with it. Let the wife put it in a box with a lock and guards around it, and we just have so much fun at rehearsals and,
And hopefully everyone that tunes into the We Have the Power show, what's your airtime again, Brian, for all?
It's 5:00 Pacific Coast time on Thursday. And I have some incredible guests coming up in the month of September, including you. But I have 4 guests this month that are you just don't want to miss any one of these shows. These guests are just top-notch people.
Yeah, so tune in to more of this enthusiasm and just fantastic information that Brian provides on the We Have the Power show. I'm looking forward to being your guest at the end of the month to talk about what developing a network like this has been. And again, I really appreciate your instrumental role in helping us to be where we are, and we're still growing. And just love what you're doing over there, Brian.
And let me put in one quick plug. We're going to have you at the end of the month. At the end of the month, I always do a show with an industry professional to help people that might like to go into that industry hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you are watching the show or someone tells you about my show that happens at the end of the month, if you're an industry professional, please get in touch with me. I want to interview you, and you can contact me through the PR Connections Radio Network or B. Gardner 2323 at yahoo.com. And isn't it great that it gives, let's say a doctor calls me, it gives him a way to further help the community by letting young people know what it's like to be a doctor before they go too far down that road. He's doing a service to our community, because why should we waste these talents of this young person being a doctor and then they find out they don't want to do that when they could have found a better path? So that doctor, I'm putting that doctor in the position of helping our community.
Yeah, so that's being able to learn about the industry that you're considering entering into in advance could save you. Either it'll make you want to jump in because you hear something that you like about being maybe someone who runs a audio and video streaming network like me, or some of the things that I might tell you might say, oh, no, want no parts of that before you start the work in the industry.
Yeah, because certain jobs and careers can look like, wow, being a private investigator, and I interviewed a private investigator. She goes, oh, yeah? Well, where do you find a bathroom when you're on a stakeout for 12 hours? I went, whoa, there's one. There's a thought. It's cold. It's hot in the car, whatever, because the TV shows make it look all really cool,
Right.
But it's great to talk with someone who's done it for a while, because we want our people in jobs they want to do. It's better for our country if people are doing jobs they like, right?
It's better for your mental health. It's better for you emotionally, your family. And if you're doing something that you're passionate about and you enjoy, number one, you're usually really good at it. Yeah. And you're very passionate about it, which means you're going to be compensated well. And you have that peace of mind, right, Brian, of knowing that you're in your lane.
Yeah. And people that are happier like that are not going to abuse alcohol. They're not going to take drugs. They're not going to then put money into the drug dealers' pockets, which are criminals in our community that don't do anything good for our community. So this show, that's why I'm so passionate about it, because from that segment once a month, I can impact change, but I'm giving scores of professionals in various job situations the ability to also impact positively the community. I think that's incredible.
So again, tune in to We Have the Power with Brian Gardner here at prconnectionsradio.com. Of course, archives of his shows are stored on our website, prconnectionsradio.com. He's all over social media platforms because he's been on the air for 4 years. There is a lot of content out there that Brian has created. And of course, you can listen on the audio streaming platforms as well. Keep doing what you're doing, Brian. We really appreciate you.
Last thought I want to share real quick is, wouldn't you have loved to have been in a pub listening to these two guys, one guy saying, I think we can beat the British, and the other guy going, are you crazy, man? I would have loved to just be sitting there sipping my brew, listening to this go down,
Then you got a choice, right? Path of freedom, path of fear. What do you take?
Yeah.
Path of freedom.
It was impossible that we could beat them. It was impossible. If you look at the reality of the situation,
Hey, keep doing what you're doing, Brian.
Thank you for giving me this platform. Thank you.
All right. Well, we are moving along through our marathon. We just had We Have the Power with my good friend Brian Gardner. We're going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll come back, and we are going to have a Sunday morning chat series with Jesse Oakley III. Stay tuned.
Hey, business owners. Want to get your brand in front of thousands of locals in Vegas without blowing your budget on overpriced ads? Ready to boost your visibility? Use promo code PRTalk for an exclusive offer. Click the link in the description or contact 702-445-9488 to talk to our experts today. Vegas is watching. Make sure they see you.
All right, we are back with the marathon here at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. This is the pre-Labor Day marathon that we host once a year. And so the shows just keep coming and coming. The next show is a recording from another very good friend of mine named Jesse Oakley III, the Sunday morning chat series. This is a very, very popular show on our network as well. Jesse has been hosting this show for quite a few years, and he brought it over to our network recently, and just rave reviews. We've been getting nothing but rave reviews about the impact of this show. People are really enjoying it, and I hope that you enjoy this edition of the Sunday Morning Chat series. Let me get myself set up here. All right. All right. Sit back and enjoy the Sunday Morning Chat series with Jesse Oakley III.
Hello there, everybody. This is the Sunday Morning Chat series with Jesse Oakley III, and I am your host, Jesse Oakley III. And the purpose of the Sunday Morning Chat series is where I get to interview a plethora of positive people that are making big differences in their communities, whether they're authors, speakers, entertainers, anything that you can name it. If they're making a big difference in the community, you'll hear it right here, right now on the Sunday Morning Chat series. And today, I'm as pleased as punch, and I am excited to actually get a chance to interview this wonderful guest. And I've been noticing her work, and she is quite the inspiration, and she is a dynamic speaker. And you're going to hear some big things coming from her, whether you're one part of the world or the other part of the world. The name Pinky Baruz is one of those names that you're going to hear when it comes to fantastic, great motivational speakers. And I believe she's also a TEDx talker too. So without any further delay, help me welcome none other than the one, the only, amazing, up-and-coming motivational speaker, Pinky Baruz. Pinky, how's it going?
Good, awesome, as good as it can be. First of all, let me compliment you. The music which played at the beginning, I love that, Jesse. And yes, being here, the honor is mine. Thank you for the invite. Happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, it is great to be here. And I tell you what, when I got started with Pinky Baruz, and before I ran for international director of an organization called Toastmasters International, She has been one of the people that I really wanted to interview for a long time. And now that my term has ended as the international director, I can get back on the show. And one of the first people I contacted was none other than Pinky Baruz. And Pinky, without any further delay, let's chat. Okay. The first question I have for you, the first question I have for you is from your own professional speaking career is, how long have you been a professional speaker?
So my journey started as a speaker. I wouldn't call it as a professional speaker then, in 2017. When I decided that, okay, I want to speak on stage, I want to be in the limelight. And that's when I heard about Toastmasters International, what you were talking about. So I stay in Vadodara, Gujarat, and there I searched Google, any Toastmasters club in Vadodara. There came a name, Vadodara Toastmasters Club. I went there and I was greeted warmly, and the meeting started. The first session was prepared speeches. How normally we see, I was like, oh my God, look at the speakers, the way they are speaking, the way they are delivering. Now then came the session for impromptu speaking, what we call table topics in Toastmasters. And I was invited. I was super confident. Okay, I just have to speak for 1 minute. By then, I had been 11 years into sales. So like I have been interacting with people. I have been interacting with corporate clients, and also that was in a travel agency. 1 to 2 minutes, a piece of cake. I went confidently. I got the topic. Your favorite movie? Super easy. I started. My favorite movie is Chennai Express because Shah Rukh Khan, the actor, is so cute. Then I froze.
Oh.
I didn't know what to say next. I went blank. Now that is when I understood that speaking one-on-one, interacting, of course, it's a part of public speaking. It's a part of networking. We should have that skill. But speaking on stage requires its different type of skills. So the very next meeting, I was a member. My training started. Every session I attended, I made sure I took a role, whether it is timer's role, whether it is the host, any role. If I'm attending, I will take a role. And then coming to when my journey as a professional speaker started, it started mid 2018 when out of the blue, I don't know how I was, maybe they heard me at Toastmasters. I was approached by a university in Vadodara to address their first year journalism students. I was like, internally, like I was talking, wait, me? What do I do? But I said yes. I prepared well. I gave my best. And that is where the journey started. From there, it started and it continues. One thing I've learned, Jesse, is that even now, when I'm presenting keynotes or conducting sessions, every platform, every stage, every scheme teaches me something. So the learning continues.
It certainly does continue, and I am fully impressed with the journey at the beginning. Now, what inspired you to actually get on the stage and give amazing, fantastic speeches? What was your inspiration? What was your motivation?
All right, so usually for speakers, which I also thought like, okay, I have got a message. I was not sure how strong my message is, whether it is effective. I've got a message and this is what I want to share. I had this at the back of my mind. But more than that, there was something else which attracted me to be a professional speaker. And that was Miss Universe who represented India, Sushmita Sen. I am a fan. So when I was a teenager, I wanted to become a model, an actor like her. Okay, this is what I want to be, nothing else. But then, just for your information, for everyone watching us, I stand 4 feet 6 inches tall, which is 138 centimeter. So of course, being an actor, being a model was maybe not possible for me. But then I realized the more I watched Sushmita Sen, I loved the way she spoke. I loved the way she carried herself sophisticatedly. So she spoke with calmness. She has a style of mesmerizing. She's mesmerizing, but she has some authority also whenever she speaks. Okay, I want to get somewhere close to that, and that is what encouraged me to try professional speaking.
Oh, that's truly fantastic. And it's always good to have that inspiration and motivation right there. And I could tell you right now, I've seen your work and you're truly a model speaker. You're truly a model speaker.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to going on stage, what were some of the challenges that you face whenever you give presentations on stage?
So coming to stage, I didn't have that fear to get on the stage. I was comfortable getting on the stage. Of course, still, yet, before any presentation, even now, I am scared before I step on the stage. But once I'm on the stage, I'm different. It's a different Pinky. It's like I suddenly change. I don't know what happens. So yes, the fear of getting on the stage was not there. I was ready to face the audience. I was ready to face that. So what was the challenging, like for example, I was telling you about not having fear to get on stage. Now that is because of reason that I had trained my mind. I've been a theatre artist for some time. I was associated with Applause Vadodara in Baroda. So I had been on stage. So that comfort was there. I had understood that, okay, Jesse, you, I, and everyone listening us here, we are human beings.
Yep.
What are we scared of? We are scared of making mistakes. But I was comfortable with making mistakes, even if during this podcast, if I'm going to make a mistake, I'm still going to survive. I'm still going to be alive. Nobody's going to come and kill me. So with that mindset, I got that comfort. So what challenge was, I know what to say. I didn't know how to structure it. What to say when, how to say, how to deliver it. Now that was a big challenge for me. I joined Toastmasters when I was around 39 years of age. So I had an experience. I was carrying an experience with me, but I didn't know how to present it. Now that is when I understood that, okay, delivery is important. I have to work on my delivery, but I have to work on my content too. And thanks to my mentors, I understood that speech, you write, okay, but to polish it, you have to write again, you have to revisit again. I'll tell you my TEDx talk, that 18-minute talk, I must have rewritten minimum of 18 times.
Wow. 18 times?
Yes.
Wow.
So yes, that was the challenge for me, structuring and presenting to engage. I was not able to engage the audience. I didn't understand how to then.
All right. Now, the next question I have for you is, I'm sure you had a plethora of moments, great moments during your speaking. Now, could you give me one of the best moments that you had getting on stage?
I would like to share 2 moments.
Go for it.
Thank you. So first of all, coming to what helped me was networking. Even you heard about me on TEDx stage. My friend told me about TEDx. I was so I was in my own world. I didn't even know what TEDx is. My friend Apsara told me about it. That is when, so my network has helped. Even I'm now a soft skill trainer also. My professional speaking, my caliber, my talent, my skill of speaking confidently, speaking with clarity helped me be a trainer. So yes, my networks have given reference, and that is what helped me. Coming to two moments. The first moment happened in 2019.
Okay.
I was delivering a keynote at a university in Delhi, capital of India. Everything, the talk is done, and we are networking, we are talking with each other. Suddenly, a gentleman comes, and I see him with tears on his face.
Wow.
I got scared. Oh my God. Did I tell something wrong? Did I do a mistake? What happened? Why is he crying? He came to me and he said, "Thank you." I was like, okay. Then he told me that he was scared for his daughter. His daughter is facing few challenges. But when he saw me on stage, when he saw me speaking, he realized that he told me that, Pinky, you know what today I felt? That if you can have such a beautiful journey, so can my daughter. I almost daily take sleeping pills. But from today, I promise you, I will not. And that was a moment for me. Second moment was that now this happened recently this year in March, the month of March. I
All
was
right.
delivering a session at a corporate. Now I already told you and the audience about my height. So
Mhm.
that lady came to me, Pinky, I was conscious about my height. I am yet. But seeing the way you spoke, seeing the way you delivered, I will try not to. I will focus on my strength. So the opportunity to give someone that hope, to give someone that courage that, okay, yes, if I can do it, you can do it. Those are the moments I can never forget.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Those are some great moments that you experienced, and I believe the happy people and myself are grateful for you to share those moments. And I'm just getting the goosebumps. I'm getting the excitement. It's like the yes. This is what it's all about positive people and your positive people making big differences. And those two examples are great big differences. But this is what I want for the happy people. And Pinky, truly, thank you for sharing those stories. And the next question I have for you is you're seen as an inspiration. You're seen as a person who make differences in other people's lives. Let's say that there's someone out there that looks at what you're doing and think, I want to do what Pinky's doing. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to be a professional speaker. I want to be a speaker who is not afraid to take on whatever can be taken on. If you were to talk to that one person who is inspired by you and wants to do what you're doing, what advice would you give that person?
It would be ace your authenticity. Just be yourself. I'll come back to the beginning of the year, like 2017, 2018. I used to observe others because I wanted to learn. I'm yet and learning. And I used to see speakers having fancy vocabulary. Oh my God, look at the words they use. I tried that. I thought, okay, I'll also try something like that in my speech and deliver. So I looked at the dictionary. I wrote down while writing my speeches. I changed it into fancy words. But when it came to delivery, when it came to delivering on stage, guess what happened?
Wow.
I forgot to use those words. I was back to using those simple words on stage. And I realized that's me. That's my style. My strength may not be fancy vocabulary, but my strength is simplicity. My strength is sharing stories. And I started working upon that. And maybe that's the reason I am here. So that's one thing. Second thing is that if you're taking professional speaking as a career, be ready to fail. The journey would not be easy. Struggles would be there. Sometimes you know how you want to deliver, but when you're on stage, you may fail. It's okay. Learn and continue. Do not give up. That's what I want to say, that sometimes you have to give pro bonos, free sessions. It's okay. You have to create a visibility for yourself. You have to let everyone know that, hey, Jessie exists. You have to create, you have to continue doing what you are doing and not give up. And the last thing is, as I said, the learning should continue. For example, when COVID started, I am not someone who's tech savvy. I'm scared of technology. I still write my speeches on paper. I'm scared of technology. Of course, being from baby boomer generation, but I'm fine with it. So I'm still learning. I was scared of PowerPoint presentations. Now I create presentations. I was scared of Canva. I use Canva now. So I am trying, but I have a different pace. But yes, I am trying from my side. Now coming to that, learning should not stop. So when everything happened online, I joined an online club, Charismatic Speakers Toastmasters Club, to understand how you present yourself online. How can you give speeches online? The world is changing. You have to adapt.
Oh, wow. Now, this is very important. And one of my indirect mentors, Evan Carmichael, YouTube sensation, taught me to believe. And one of the things that he mentioned was expect to stink in the beginning. So that's always, for anybody out there, remember, first time go around, it may not be perfect. Expect to stink. Now, the key thing after that is, how do you become better? And once you find ways to become better, then you just learn over and over until you become an amazing speaker. And Pinky, you hit the nail right on the head. And I got to believe that you have done a fantastic with the expect to stink and always be able to improve. So that is truly phenomenal. Now, how can more people know about you, Pinky Barus, the speaker? Is there a website they can go to? Is there any place they can actually go?
Oh, yes, they can watch my TEDx talks. They can watch my Josh talks. I've shared my life journey there. Of course, there's Google. Type the name. You will get all the information. And of course, social media, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I'm more active on LinkedIn nowadays because that's what giving me work. That's what giving me more visibility. The people who give me work, the HR, the deans, and everyone is there. So I have to be there. So yes, that's where you can find me and I'll be happy to connect.
All right. And again, look for Pinky Barus in LinkedIn and Google, anywhere that you can find Pinky. Look for the TEDx talks and you'll be amazed like I was when I got a chance to see Pinky in action. So if you're able to connect to Pinky, reach out to her. And I'm sure that you'll be some good connections and you may learn a thing or two from Miss Pinky Barus. Now, Pinky, it is shout out time. Now, is there anyone out there that you'd like to thank for making this moment for you possible?
To begin with, of course, my family, my parents, my sisters, brother-in-laws, my nephew, my friends. Apart from that, I worked as I told you, I was in sales for 11 years. So a manager there, I was not ready. When he told me that, Pinky, I want you in sales, I said, me? No ways. I cannot talk properly to myself. How will I talk to clients? But he's the one who trusted me. I don't know what he saw in me, but he said, Pinky, no, I want you in sales. So yes, him for believing in me. The first, I'm not official, like even professionally, the first person to have confidence in me. Apart from that, the communities like Toastmasters International, Applause Vadodara, Professional Speaker Association of India, Indian Society for Training and Development Vadodara. So everyone, the Banyan Club, the school, because when I came back to India, I started working at a school. So that school, everyone I have been associated with has helped me in some way or another. So shout out to, yes, shout out to them.
All right. All right. Truly fantastic. Now, the last question I have for you is for my audience. And my audience, my crew, they're called the happy people. And they always like something at the end, some great words of wisdom that they can just take on home and actually take to wherever they need to go. Now, if you were to give any words of wisdom for my crew, my audience, the happy people, what would those words of wisdom be?
Have practical goal. We say have goals. It is important to have goals. What worked for me was having a practical goal. Now, just imagine if I said I wanted to become a model and an actor like Sushmita Sen. I would have been no, this is only what I want to become. I'm not going to try anything else. I doubt if I would have succeeded. Instead of focusing on what I cannot do, I started knowing myself. I started talking to myself that, Pinky, okay, if you cannot do this, forget it. What is it that you can do? And that's when I realized, oh my God, I love talking. I love to be on stage. I love to be on screen. I love the attention. So that's what. Be practical. Know yourself. Accept yourself as you are and work upon your strength. I have worked upon my comfort zone. I have worked upon my strength and expanded my comfort zone. I've understood that being comfortable. Today, Jesse, if I was like, we are talking, we are interacting. And if I was not comfortable, it would reflect. Audience, you, everyone is smart enough to understand. Everyone is smart enough to read the body language. So one thing I've understood is being you, being comfortable is what gives you confidence. Just go for it.
All right. And this is a perfect bookend to a wonderful interview with Pinky Baruz. And for the people out there, remember the name Pinky Baruz, because you're going to hear some big things and you're going to see some great things coming from this wonderful speaker. She may be 4'6", but she is a giant when it comes to giving a message. Now, I can tell you on behalf of all the happy people that are watching, Pinky would like to thank you for taking the time out for this interview for the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. Thank you, Pinky.
Thank you. Thank you for the interview.
Love
Love
it.
being here.
Love it. And this was well worth it. The 3 years, it was truly worth it to get a chance to interview you. And I am 100% grateful for the opportunity. Now, happy people, this concludes this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III on PR Connections. For more of the Sunday Morning Chat Series, go to PR Connections. You can go on YouTube, you can go on Facebook, you can go on LinkedIn, and there's more information that's there. And who knows, there'll be another Sunday Morning Chat Series next Sunday. And until next time, happy people, you take care of yourselves. And remember to always, always, always have a great day. Until next time, goodbye.
Volume in there. There we go. All right. I hope that you all enjoyed the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. This has just been a phenomenal day already. We've got to interview so many interesting people, and looking forward to our next guest, which is going to be Werner Dixon, and he is going to be broadcasting Prospering in Health and Wealth, at prconnectionsradio.com. However, we're going to honor another one of our sponsors. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, business owners. Want to get your brand in front of thousands of locals in Vegas without blowing your budget on overpriced ads? Ready to boost your visibility? Use promo code PRTalk for an exclusive offer. Click the link in the description or contact 702 445-9488 to talk to our experts today. Vegas is watching. Make sure they see you.
All right, we're back with more of the PR Connections Marathon here at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. And again, I hope you've been enjoying the shows that we have on our network. Our next presenter for today is a good friend of mine that I have known from business networking for a number of years, and he recently brought his outstanding show to the network. Werner, why don't you come on in? How are things going, Mr. Werner Dixon?
Good morning, it's afternoon now. It's afternoon. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, it's great to see you, and hey, I'm just happy to be here. That's about it. I'm happy to be here.
Well, welcome, Werner. And you've got this podcast on the network now, Prospering in Health and Wealth. And how has your journey been so far? I think you had just gotten started when we had our last marathon. So you've had a few months now of broadcasting on the network. How's it coming?
I think it's going awesome. I mean, because I get the copy of the recordings and I'm able to distribute them on in other areas as well. And so I kind of look at myself as a celebrity, sort of, because I've been doing this for a little bit. At least I feel like I've been doing this for a while. But I hope I am imparting some important information to the folks who are watching PR Connections. And so I value the opportunity to share that information. So I feel good about the progress so far. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Yes, and I mean, the principles that you're sharing on your network are so timely. Well, they're timeless, actually. I mean, health, wealth, and prosperity, those are definitely things that we all aspire. Good health, for sure, these are things that we all aspire to experience throughout our lives.
And that's right. I mean, and with the intersection of health and AI, I mean, it just is creating a whole different environment than the ones that when I started in business, we were just, doing things manually. But with AI out there and help getting the message out and making sure people understand things and giving some people additional opportunities to expand themselves, it's just been awesome and phenomenal. And so that's what I want to continue to talk about.
Well, I don't want to step on your thunder, Werner, because I know you have a lot to say, and I'm going to step out of here. Please welcome Werner Dixon, Prospering in Health and Wealth podcast, PR Connections Radio.
All right. Thank you, Guy. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'd like to thank you all for being here this morning. I know, you could have been doing some other things, but I'm happy that you're here. I've been, like Guy said, I've been doing this since the last marathon, at least just started before the last marathon. And what I like to share is some of the things that I've been through and some of the things that I'm going through right now. So, I mean, in terms of that, you know how you get up some days and you want to share some information with someone, or you had a good experience and you want to tell somebody. And so, I mean, I was doing that without this particular venue, but it has allowed me to get that information out to more people. I've had some health issues, and so going through those health issues, it kind of gave me an appreciation for, I guess, longevity, because over the years, or at least this last few years, I've been losing more of my friends, people that I grew up with and did things with. They're no longer around, and so it gives you a different feeling in terms of going into your day-to-day activities, because normally if you say, I want to talk to so-and-so, and you realize that that person or that entity is no longer available to you. So, I mean, what we do for some of us that are still in contact with each other, that we went to grade school together, kindergarten, elementary school, high school. And so we've begun to kind of take some time out and maybe once a month get together for lunch. and have our discussions and catch up on that. And so it's always great to see my friends and that have been around for a while. And even during that time that we've been going to lunch and doing some things, we've lost some of those people as well. So it's all about living your best life now and sharing that best life with others, if you like. And so that's what I'm trying to do is share that experience, share the issues that I went through in terms of my health, share the issues that I went through in terms of my finances and getting to a certain point in life where I'm comfortable and there's things that I don't have to worry about. I don't worry about my health anymore because I know that I'm doing the right things and taking care of it. I don't worry too much about, when I say too much, I don't worry too much about my finances because those things have already been put in place and they're starting to work fairly well. And so those two areas that I've been sharing about over these last few months that I've been on PR Connections. And so that's what I want to do today. I mean, in terms of this being the day before Labor Day, and I have a birthday coming up, by the way, September 6th. So happy birthday to me. And I'll be 79 years old. I mean, so being around this long is awesome. Again, because I look back at some of the people who I grew up with who are not here and went out at an earlier age for, natural causes or health reasons or whatever. So I pray to God, thank God that I'm still here and enjoying this time in life and hopefully wanting to make it better. At this point, I mean, I continue to try to, be that conduit in terms of sharing information and successes with other folks. And so that's what I continue to do. I have 7 grandkids. I have 7 awesome grandkids. And I know anybody, if you got grandkids, you probably say the same thing. But in this case, I say mine are awesomer than yours. and I kid around like that. But that's great as well to be able to see those little people grow up to be big people. My youngest one is 5 years old, and the oldest one just turned 15. And he is taller than I am, and I'm 6'1", and so he's 15 years old. His feet are bigger than mine. Anyway, that's story for another time. What I want to talk about today is how some of the things that I'm promoting are doing. One that you see on the sign in the back is Envision You, health and wealth company plus travel. And that provides different energy drinks, healthy coffee, collagen to help with my skin and keep me looking good, that kind of a thing. And so that's one of the entities that I bring to the table in terms of being able to provide that type of a service to a company that has viable products and services that not only help you with your health, but also helps you with your wealth, because there's an opportunity to promote those products and services and earn a really good income, and then take advantage of the travel services as well as one of the components of that. The other thing in terms of more and more I'm seeing in social media and in different areas, they're talking about the environment and how toxic it is and the things you need to try to do to help you stay healthy and keep those components out of your system, out of your house and out of your life. And so to promote that, I also have products and services that help clean the house, disinfect it, and do some body washing, soaps, and those kind of things that I also support. And so I try to bring some things that are good for you to the table that you may or may not have known about. And so that's what I wanted to do, is introduce that to you. And then talking about the health and the toxicity in the environment. I mean, they got all this plastic and they've got all this smoke from manufacturing and things that you're trying to avoid, or giving products and services to support you in those kinds of environments. And so those are things that you have to be aware of too. You can't just go in your day-to-day thing and start feeling bad and not know why, not understand why. And so I bring to the table some of those issues as well. It's a company called BioLimitless that I have been able to kind of get energetic and be full of life, as it were, because their product that I started taking is helping me with my cellular systems. I mean, so it helps my cells be healthy and energetic, and it gives me the energy and the motivation to get up in the morning and do my thing. And that's why I got excited about doing this podcast. Actually, that's the reason that I started doing the podcast, because of BioLimitless and the products that I was taking from that company. And they've also come out with a detox product because doing some of the studies and looking at it, you wouldn't believe, or maybe you do, that we have, as people my age or even younger, have as much plastic in your body to make a plastic spoon, a small plastic spoon. And that was shocking to me. And so I have a product, detox product from BioLimitless, that helps remove some of that toxicity from my body as well. So those things are there to make sure that I can do the best I can for myself. And if they work for me, I figured that they may work for someone else, but that someone else may not have known about that. And so you can pay attention to those kind of issues, even to the point where the plastic containers that you buy every day, you buy your bottled water and those kinds of things, the plastic on your dry cleaning, when you take that off, that stuff has to go someplace. And it depending on where you live, they have a recycling bin. So you put in your trash over here, you put in your plastic here, and you put in your miscellaneous things over here. That's one thing. It gets it out of your environment, but it doesn't necessarily clear the environment out. Say plastics, for instance, there's a company called Corsair, and they've been doing it for the last 4 years, in terms of taking that plastic and melting it down and turning it into a viable oil called Pryolite oil. And so Shell is one of the biggest companies that have taken advantage of redoing that oil and creating new plastic products and services from that. And so that's a part of one of the services that I offer too, is working with Corsair to do that. And you as an individual can also support cleaning up the environment, because they have what we call CRS credits. And you think about carbon credits as an example. There are companies that buy carbon credits, and they trade carbon credits depending on how much pollution that they're presenting. And if they are allocated for a certain amount, and if they don't use all that, they can sell those carbon credits to another company and offset that other company's emissions, toxicity, and those kind of things. Well, the same thing has come to plastic as well. So me as an individual, I can buy those credits, and those credits go towards the manufacturing or the facility to process those that plastic. And so that gives me an opportunity to participate in cleaning the environment. And so it will give you an opportunity to participate and clean the environment as well. So those are the things that I talk about, particularly in the area of health. And that's just another area of health that you want to make sure that a man-made pollution and that we're making that effort to make sure that we don't imbibe it, and nobody else does, because they've taken pictures of plastic in the ocean, and as big as a small state, I think they said about the size of Rhode Island, that plastic is floating. It's almost like an island just floating across the ocean. And so companies go out and try to round that stuff up and try to clean the environment. But as plastic is deteriorating, it takes 410 years for a plastic bottle to deteriorate. I mean, so imagine all that plastic not being processed, not being broken down, not being changed into something else to rid the environment of that burden of the toxicity. So it's an opportunity to do it. So every dollar you put in that environment, it creates an effort to clean up that environment. And so and you can participate, like I said, as well. And not only that, but the tokens are on the blockchain. Are you familiar with crypto? Are you familiar with the blockchain and what it's doing? Everything seems to be moving to the blockchain. Everything seems to be creating tokens or cryptocurrency for a different project. And I've invested in cryptocurrency for quite a while, and I have some successful projects going as well, which is thank God I got into some positive environments that are beginning to pay off. And I talk about that as well briefly, but I will add more conversations about cryptocurrency because it is becoming so prevalent. The other part of that as well, not only cryptocurrency, but the AI and being able to earn income from your health, or earn income from the credits that other companies are polluting the environment. But people are being fired from by the thousands in different organizations. I mean, if you read the news or you see anything from a day-to-day basis, you'll see one department is losing 1,000, one department is losing 100. And if those departments supporting other departments, so the other companies have to lay off individuals. And so that's another reason that I talk a lot about side gigs or another income stream, because in this day and age, I mean, another $400 or $500 could change your life. But if you're working a job and you're concerned about that job and how long is it going to last, because one, AI is taking over a lot of jobs, in addition to the people being fired by government entities or other companies because they don't have enough production to keep those people around. And so I'm offering opportunities to earn additional income. And on top of that, with AI coming to the table and taking positions away too. I mean, I offer a product that a company can start with one person and build the company over years, their accounting, their follow-up, their marketing, their funnels, their social media, everything that you can think about that runs a company can be done in an artificial environment. And I have a couple of products that I'm promoting that's doing that. It's starting to take over those positions. I mean, they had a video of, I don't know if it was a McDonald's, I don't recall right now, but of AI, a robot being able to run the whole restaurant. It's a takeout. So it flipped the burgers, it toasted the buns, it put the fries in the fryer and took them out, emptied them on the thing, and oh my God. It did the whole process with no individual in there. So those people who are on that type of job kind of a situation, that's going to go away. So you've got to look at other avenues of opportunities. And I think the first avenue of opportunity would be, what can you do with an AI environment? And you can do that with AI environment and not have to go outside of the house, as it were. I mean, there are people becoming millionaires using AI to develop AI functions that different companies need. And so I've got an application called Lev AI that you can create multiple salespeople to sell your products and services. And so I'm promoting that and starting to put that out into the market as well as other avenues for me, because it's only one of me. But Lev AI gives the opportunity to do multiples of me. It takes my image, my sound, and the information that I have for the products and services that I have. It'll call the customer. It'll have a conversation with the customer. If the customer can't do something now, it'll call back later on, being suggested by the client. It'll call back later on and go through that entire process until a sale is made or not, depending on what the situation is. And so all I'm saying is that it's an opportunity for everybody to take advantage of jobs right now in terms of starting something different. AI is the simplest process in the world in terms of doing it. There's a lot of companies out there now giving you little bots and those kind of things, and you can go that route, or you can go the route that I'm talking about. Come to a company with a total all-in-one platform to do things within that company. Answer the phone as a administrative assistant, take phone calls and follow up return calls, do your accounting, do all of those things. I mean, it's amazing what AI is doing now. And I can hardly fathom what it'll be doing in a few years, because it's becoming more and more sophisticated. The things that you can make it do or help it do, I'm suggesting that you get involved from that perspective, because that's one of the easiest ways. You don't have to put in a resume. You don't have to worry about trying to get rejecting from different jobs and things. AI is the place to be. AI is where things are going. I mean, it's all becoming automated between artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency, the blockchain and what they're doing with that, because as a company develops an application, and if it's a viable application where somebody needs that process, they create a token for it. And this might be an AI, I almost said individual. It might be an AI component going through that entire process and managing that entire process and actually doing sales for you in that process. So all I'm saying is that I'm here to try to help. I want to make sure that you're staying as healthy as possible. I want to make sure that if there's an opportunity to generate some additional income, that's what I like to provide as well. And so over the next few broadcasts, and my broadcast is normally on Tuesday at 10 o'clock on PR Communications. And so I look forward to you to tuning in and seeing what's going on, because I'm going to present more of the credits, talk a little bit more about that, because that's significant. That's a significant opportunity in itself in terms of helping the environment. There are cities that are looking at ways to kind of clean things up. And so I'm looking at what Las Vegas can do, what the state of Nevada can do as in regards to that kind of thing. And also AI, and I'm talking to people about nonprofits as an example. Nonprofits can use this application and allow it to be passed on to other companies as other companies are generating income or doing things or adding components of the AI platform to support them. Nonprofit would be able to get donations based on that. And we set it up as two ways, either commissions or donations. So it makes it an easy transition. Not only that, I mean, I got a sales app that runs on my phone that's AI backed as well. And it has thousands of companies that are already in it. And we just released it. Less than a month, well, actually a couple of weeks ago is the first component, and it's going to continue to add and become more viable as well. I mean, and even I can go out and look for a local business that wants to maybe get a discount or have a rewards program for their clients. I can put them in this application and they can do that, and they can get benefits all over the world from the application being there. So again, there are some awesome opportunities to participate in this environment, but I want you to stay healthy, and I want you to be wealthy. And as the other part of that, you got to be wise. And if you can stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, it's all good. That's what it's all about. So, I mean, like I said, you know, give me a call. I mean, I've got multiple opportunities for you to participate. Even television network, you want to get on TV, we got that. I'm sales and marketing vice president for Golden Network, and we've been running for 5 or 6 years. I could almost 6 years, and advertising and things are going in that environment as well. So I'm saying I have multiple opportunities for you to participate, and again, be the best that you can be for yourself. And as you're being the best as you can be for yourself, you're going to shine, and that shine is going to help other people as well. So as you're doing that, continue to be good, continue to grow, continue to be who you are, and if you need some help, reach out to me. I mean, I'm local. I'm Las Vegas. You can give me a call, or you can reach me email, or catch me online, or whatever, you know, because I'm on all the social media things: LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram. You know, everywhere you can be contacted. I guess almost everywhere. Anyway, I can be reached. So. But I want you to have a blessed, prosperous life, and enjoy the rest of this weekend, this holiday weekend, because I think it's an awesome opportunity to enjoy yourself, to live life, to think outside the box. You know, it gives you an opportunity to take a break, step back, and say, what's the next step? What's in it for me? What can I do better? What am I doing now? And this now, will it be available later? And am I comfortable where I am? If you're not comfortable where you are, that's really the time to start thinking outside the box, and look at some other opportunities, look at some other things that you can get involved in. You never know how good you are in something until you step over the line. And the one thing that I keep espousing or talking about is AI. I mean, my AI intro started with Siri and Alexa on the clocks and things, you know. So talking about talking to equipment, so to speak, was kind of a strange thing. And so now I'm having full conversations with an AI entity. And it's not so strange anymore. It's becoming the normal thing that I do. So with that in mind, like I said, reach out to me on PR Connections every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And I look forward to seeing you there. So if there's any other thing that you want, let me know. Contact me. I'll be there. So have a blessed one and enjoy this holiday. Thank you.
Yeah, keep up the great work, Werner. Again, spreading health, wealth, and prosperity, and just fantastic principles, sharing all the suite of services that you offer. A very talented guy, Werner Dixon is someone who is extremely passionate about other people's success as well as his own. And we love what you're doing with your podcast, Werner, the education that you're providing. Looking forward to many more podcasts where you help us to grow.
I'm looking forward to it too, Guy. You know, and I appreciate being here and giving me the opportunity to spread the information. So it has helped me to grow even more as well. So you keep up the good work, and I'll do my best to make sure that I don't embarrass you. Okay.
Oh, trust me. I'm not worried about that at all, Werner. I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. Have
All
a blessed
right.
one.
Well, we are just moving on along through this marathon. We have one more podcast before we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back for the second half of our event today. And this podcaster is another good friend of mine I've known for many years, and his name is James Pasudich, and he recently started a podcast called JP's Lounge, Teacher's Lounge, excuse me. And he is an outstanding educator and someone who is also has that spirit of growth that Werner was talking about a second ago. And I'm just so excited. His podcast airs once a month. And this is actually the day out of every month in which his podcast airs. So he happened to just fall in alignment with the marathon. And so let me bring him in, and you please enjoy JP's Teacher's Lounge, the next podcast in our marathon for today.
PR Connections Radio presents
Welcome everyone to JP's Teacher's Lounge, episode 3. Today's title, A Lesson Through the Hemispheres. I will continue my indulgence of listening to Rush, my favorite group. Rush music has had a tremendous influence on me. But my indulgence is also relevant to what I'm going to talk about today. Today, the subtitles would be differentiated instruction, different learning styles, and crushing the monopolistic hierarchy in education. And what I mean by that is, again, going back to Howard Gardner's quote, it's not how smart you are, it's how are you smart. Up until this point, up until maybe the last 15, 20 years or so, and depending on who you ask, they may disagree. It might have been only the last couple of years or last, 30 years. We tend to follow one hierarchy of learning, and that is the traditional going to college, reading, writing, being basically book smart, linguistic smart. And that doesn't tell the whole picture. And I'm going to talk about the lesson through hemispheres and how I think that should apply to us moving forward into crushing the monopolistic hierarchy of college, university, going that route. Of course, it's important to be a lifelong learner. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the whole idea that you go to college, you graduate, you're successful, and then some people look at trade schools or military or other avenues as being somehow inferior. That needs to be crushed, along the same lines of the public school, looking at the public school as a monopolistic hierarchy in which that dominates the education space. But backtracking, in 1978, Rush came out with an album called Hemispheres. It was one of their epics, and it was the end of the 70s, the end of the progressive rock movement. Well, I wouldn't say the end of it, but it was the end of probably their take on it. And in hemispheres, it's an abstract battle. First of all, the Greek heroes, Greek gods always tried to interfere with the lives of humans, and this was no exception. It becomes an abstract battle, almost as if Apollo and Dionysus were debating. They were both trying to get the attention of the people of the land, the people of the world. And Apollo represents left brain, thinking, logic, common sense, math, science, technical stuff, logic, reason. And Dionysus represents emotion, love, passion, instincts. So Apollo tells the people, follow me. I have what you want. He says, I bring truth and understanding. I bring wit and wisdom fair, precious gifts beyond compare. We can build a world of wonder. I can make you all aware. So he's giving his plea, his case. Follow me. I know what's right. I can show you success. You will flourish if you follow me and follow my teachings and my practice. So the people did it. They ran to build their cities and converse among the wise. And these are quotes from the story. So they go to build their cities and converse among the wise. So they're flourishing. They're being successful. They have enough to eat. They're indulging in science and logic, and everything is great. But then towards the end, but one day the streets fell silent, and they knew not what was wrong. The urge to build these fine things seemed not to be so strong. So there you go. There's a void. It was lacking. They knew what to do, but they didn't have the passion or the desire or the drive. So they consulted Dionysus. Dionysus, I bring love to give you solace in the darkness of the night, in the heart's eternal light. You need only trust your feelings. Only love can steer you right. And probably one of the best lines of lyrics and poetry, or at least in my opinion. Dionysus is making his plea for the people to follow him. Throw off those chains of reason, and your prison disappears. Oh, look, I messed up. Or I should have given the whole thing. There was another part of it. I can't think of it right now. But throw off those chains of reason, the chains holding you back, and your prison disappears. So let love guide you. Let your be guided with your heart. So they ran to the forest, and they lived as brothers. They had food and wine, dancing, singing, dancing underneath the stars, and enjoying themselves. But one day, and everything was great, and they were filled with joy. But the winter fell upon them, and it caught them unprepared, bringing wolves and cold starvation, and hearts of men despaired. So there you go. That was the end of that. Well, you can't just have passion. You need some logic. You need some reason. So Cygnus, the bringer of balance, comes in and talks about, again, balance. And the rest of the stuff, if you're interested, you can go back and listen to it. But the reason I mention this is because I'm linking it with something. It's not just about balance. It's about learning styles and learning strengths. You have someone like Apollo who knows what to do, but he doesn't have passion. So think of people who are in certain positions. where they thrive in one area, but can't figure anything out over here. I had a good friend of mine. Unfortunately, he passed away years ago, but he was married briefly. He married a nurse, a traveling nurse. I guess what that means is she was not permanently based in a hospital, in one hospital. She would work in a hospital and then move to another hospital, and she got like an extra stipend money because they were in such demand. So he dates her, he gets married, and next time I talked to him a few months later, he says, well, they got divorced. I said, well, what happened? Oh, she was up to her usual stuff. I said, well, what is that? She wasn't paying her bills. And I'm thinking, okay, well, how did you think that was gonna change after you got married? So as far as I know, she was an excellent nurse, but she doesn't know how to pay her bills. So you have think of all the athletes, the musicians, the people that we admire for their ability. But in each one of them, there's an area in which they lack. And as teachers, we have to think of that. We have to keep that in mind, that some students have strengths in one area, but lack in another area. They may be very smart, but they make bad decisions. So, what I'm trying to link it to is there is no, at least in my opinion, there's no one hierarchy of intelligence. I'm book smart. I'm maybe a little street smart, but more common sense smart, book smart. But I'm not hands-on. I can't build things. I can't create things or fix things. I'm the opposite of a handyman. But someone who is good at that may not be a reader, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean they don't understand things. That person still may understand things. That person may be better at working with people, learning how to work with people, learning how to talk to people, learning how to manage people, learning how to delegate authority. So the same line of that with looking at someone who says, oh, I'm going to go to trade school. And even though the opinions, the attitudes are changing, but it's the whole idea of the assumption that, well, go to trade, that's the plan B, go to trade school. What if it's plan A? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with going to trade school. Nothing wrong with going to the military. Nothing wrong with opening up your own business or joining the family business. As a teacher, I believe in lifelong learning, of course, but you can learn from traveling. You can learn from, unfortunately, bad experiences you can still learn from. But you can learn from traveling. You can learn from taking courses online. You can learn from opening up your own business, creating a partner, having a partnership in business, startup businesses, buying a vending machine, renting, buying and operating that, managing that. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've taken that, let's go to college and get a degree and then get a job or whatever. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but if we treat it as if that's the hierarchy, no, it's just one option. And it should, and we talk about leveling the playing field, that's what the playing field should be. Options, letting the market decide. Again, going back to, I believe it was my first episode, talking about Social Security, linking Social Security with the whole idea of public school. And what I mean by that is you don't have if you have a job, with certain exceptions, but you have a job and you don't have an option whether or not to pay into Social Security. They take the money out. Same thing with public schools. You're paying taxes on public schools, whether your kids go there or not. If you want to see if Social Security is really popular, make it voluntary and see what happens. Again, don't get me wrong, because I don't want to be hypocritical, although, I mean, I'm no more hypocritical than the next person. It helped my parents, helped my grandparents, help with their income. So I'm not knocking it, it's great. But the whole idea that it's a monopoly because you have no choice. You should be able to have a choice. If public schools, well, we know public schools are bad, or at least for the most part, the system is bad. There's some great schools, there's some great teachers, great administrators. But the whole idea that they can keep operating year after year without any kind of consideration. They know they're going to get funding. The money keeps coming. Same thing with Social Security. School, again, I know that my first episode was about school choice, and I'm kind of backtracking to that because I'm trying to link all these things together. School choice, well, it should be choice all across the board. I grew up in the 80s, and there was a thing called the mall. I mean, they're still around, but the mall has become very nostalgic because that defined the 80s a lot, because that's where people hung out. That was a center. Like, it's almost like the town square. It was almost like the town square. You had obviously shops, restaurants, you had McDonald's, you had different bookstores, Bookstar, Walden Books, Barnes and Noble, which is the last remaining chain. Record stores, Sam Goody, Warehouse, Music Plus, Licorice Pizza. But anyways, I mean, again, talking about the mall. When you go to the mall, it was free to go into the mall, but you can choose where you can go, where you want to go, and you're voting with your feet and your wallet. So if you could think about, like, we demand, when it comes to business and private business, we demand this because we're the ones with a choice. The consumers are the ones with leverage, not the state or the public school. Public school is the state in a sense. I mean, it's the public sector. It's the state. It's money that goes to the state. Private businesses make money. They got to pay the tax. They got to pay it to the state. Why can't we have something as important as education have a business model like a mall, where in your city or area, you have about 10, 15, 20 different schools in which you can choose from. And maybe in some areas there are that are relatively competitive with tuition, but also what provide, and giving people promising someone a free and appropriate public education. Again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you promise them something off the backs of taxpayers. That's wrong. Just like, and again, I don't know the real reason why there's a lot of push of sending money to other countries. I'm not saying it's money laundering, because I don't know. I mean, I don't have any evidence, but I'm suspicious. I mean, we're not friendly to, let's just send money to other countries for no apparent reason other than we're trying to be good. Not when the government does it. Individuals do it, yeah. When individuals do it, sure. And that money just goes right back, how it ends up going back into their wallets or their accounts. I don't know. I really don't know. And I never will. But it's money that goes into the public schools, and we have no say in it, but we gotta pay our taxes. Because then if you choose going to a private school, and you got to pay, because my parents sent me to a private school from 4th grade on, and they still had to pay taxes going into public schools. Instead of that tax money, why not take? I mean, I know it's less money for the state. Is that such a bad thing? Well, I mean, look at the results. But again, it's something that I know I talked a lot of moving back into the first episode about school choice and everything, but getting back to, yes, because I tend to get sidetracked, but getting back to what I'm talking about today, different learning styles, different learning strategies. It's important to be aware of that, because the student that's misbehaving is misbehaving for a reason. That student's needs are not being met. Now, does that mean they have a free pass and can act foolish? No. But the needs are not being met. Why punish that student's family if that person goes to a private school, they have to pay tuition? So here, public school is free. Over here, you pay a lot of tuition. That's not a level playing field to me. A level playing field is having options, having competition, and even if a family has to pay tuition, it should be minimal. Competition should bring the prices down. It should. I know it doesn't always, but it should. Capitalism is a good system. Is it perfect? No. Does it make sense for someone to have billions of dollars and someone else to be rummaging into the trash can for a meal for eat. No, that's wrong too. Give that person some respect and dignity, and allow that person to have food, but give that person an opportunity to work it off. Okay, and to make that person feel as if there is a level playing field and the system is not rigged against them. Because the system's not way far from perfect. We know it's not, especially with inflation. What happened? I guess, again, I'm not an economist, but apparently with inflation, the billionaires get the money first, and then when it comes down circulating to us, it's still money, but it's devalued. Okay, and we get the scraps, so to speak. Well, I guess that's what it is. We get the scraps. If we really want to level the playing field, we need to have competition, real competition, not just like, okay, this is free over here, but this is $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a year per student. That's not real competition. For some that can afford to pay for it, great, but not everyone can. And yes, there are scholarships. Don't get me wrong, that's great. Where there's a will, there's a way. But pull the state out of it and let schools run like a marketplace, like the mall, like the town center, the town square, like a mall. Okay. But people learn differently. They have different skill sets, different strengths. Now, because of that, it's obviously it's implied that they also have weak areas. If you can call it weak, it's just they're not strong in every aspect. Why do students are expected to sit in a desk for 6 or 7 hours when some of them they're not designed that way? They need to move around. They need to do things. Okay, if we're preparing for the 21st century workplace, what does the 21st century workplace really look like? It's maybe an office, a project online, out in the field. It's AI. It's in the digital space. It's everywhere. It's no longer the factories, 9-to-5 factories, because the schools are set up like the 9-to-5 factories. But getting back to the hemisphere, rushes the hemispheres. Again, it's not just about. So to sum up, here's I'm giving my summary here. It's not just about balance. In a sense, it is. You need to have a balance. If you look at politics, the last two elections, actually probably the last one. What did I find? 89% of counties moved towards Republicans. Well, I think it's just that it was so much to the left that it actually moved more towards the center, which is where most people are. A balance, a healthy balance. You have a perspective, a healthy perspective. And I think it's a misnomer when we talk about left versus right, because then it's like it's linear. It's a line. If you go too far to the left, you're on the right. You go too far on the right, you're on the left. You become what you despise if you go too far. It's more of a circle. It's circular. So it's not just the balance. It's recognizing that we have different strengths different perspectives and having some common sense. It's always it's always either left or over to the right. One thing, I watched Bill Maher's show, Real Time with Bill Maher, and one thing, he nailed it. He says, you know, Americans, well, he's mostly talking about politicians, I think. Americans, we don't just react, we overreact. Okay, we're in schools, we're overreacting with in a lot of areas. Okay, it used to be the kids would get smacked for saying the wrong thing. Well, that's not right either. But letting them do whatever they want, or letting them cuss out somebody and doing whatever they want, and now you grow up. They grow up going and looting stores because there's no consequence. Well, obviously that's not right either. It needs to be in the balance. We need to learn from Cygnus, the bringer of balance. So you may agree with me, you may disagree, you may partially agree with me. That's fine. I'm open to hear, you know, I'm open to interact with people in a dialogue, in a healthy dialogue, and talk about, you know, your perspective. And that's kind of the whole thing is, if you're at a baseball game and you're sitting on the third base line or the first base line, the game is going to look a lot different than where I am. So let's come together and have some different perspectives, and this way all together we can figure out the big picture. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in to JP's Teachers Lounge, episode 3, a lesson through the hemispheres. That's my perspective, and I'm sticking to it. And please reach out to me on jamespasutichcommunications.com. I'm also on Facebook, James Pasutich Communications, and LinkedIn. Thank you very much, and let's go out and make it a great week. All right, bye everybody.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed James Pasutich, and his knowledge and insight is just phenomenal. And I am really looking forward to a lot more great podcasts from him over here at prconnectionsradio.com as well. As you can see, we just keep bringing in more and more thoroughbreds, more and more outstanding podcasters on this network. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got a lot of shows that are in the queue for your enjoyment. So stay tuned for more at prconnectionsradio.com. We have reached the end of the first half of our marathon for today. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to be bringing on our Chief Operations Officer, Dana Wall Oakley, to do an episode of Dana Does Voices, and we will also be hearing from Toy Moore. And this is going to be her podcast, which is called Talks with Toy. She's going to be interviewing an outstanding guest today. He's someone that I met a few years ago. His name is James Cannon. He is Nick Cannon's father, a really inspirational guy. He's a motivational speaker. And so you're going to want to stick around for the second half of the PR Connections Marathon here at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. This is the Labor Day edition, or the pre-Labor Day edition. Stay tuned and see you soon.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.